What's going on, everybody? We got Kay the Screamer in the house.
What up, y'all?
Kay, how you doing?
I'm good. I don't know if I should look at you or the camera. Like,
you can look at both.
Okay,
Just
great.
look everywhere.
I'll look everywhere but where I'm supposed to.
You know, on a traditional podcast setup, we'd be sitting across the table from each other, but we're like in a bedroom studio.
Listen, this is the vibe, especially like here in Nashville. I feel like this is like how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, man. It's guerrilla podcasting here. So I wanted to know, like, you're originally from LA, is that right?
So
yeah, where are you from?
I'm like, bro, how much time you got? You know, like
you got all the time.
Kind of a long story, I guess. So I was born in Oklahoma City.
Okay.
So that's my hometown. But when I was 16, my family moved overseas for my dad's job. So we lived in the UAE, which is in the Middle East. So at the young age of 16, my dad uprooted my life.
Oh my gosh. Like how were you feeling back then when that happened?
God, I can remember like so vividly. So I have two older brothers, they're twins. They're like 4 years older than me. I remember so vividly they told us at like our dinner table in our house, you know, like, hey, so, you know, like I got an opportunity, we're moving to the Middle East. And I was like, what? And one of my brothers was so mad that he literally kicked the glass out of the back door in our dining room.
He thought you were going straight to like Iraq or something.
We were like, we're you know, this was 2010, yeah. So it was like just post 9/11 by a few years, right? So like all we kind of knew about the Middle East as Americans, unfortunately, was like post 9/11. So it was like they're the bad guys. Like, so I was like, are we gonna die? Like, are we gonna get run over by a tank? Like, what's going on? And then my dad had a guy from his work come. Like some random stranger came in our house and he had a binder that was like this thick and he dropped it on the coffee table and he was like, this is everything you need to know about living in the Middle East. And I was like, what?
Oh my gosh.
What? And so obviously we moved there and I like hated my parents. Like the night before we actually like flew out, I remember there was a tornado like warning that night and like the sirens started going. Yeah, the sirens started going off and my mom came in my room and was like, hey, we need to go, you know, get in the bathroom or whatever. I was like, just leave me here to die. Like, I don't care. Because I was so
mad. You wanted to pick the tornado over moving to the Middle East.
Yeah. And then, you know, fast forward, of course, like the misconceptions about, you know, the culture there is like so wrong.
Dude,
you know?
I want to get into that because I think a lot of Americans, they just believe whatever they watch on TV about the Middle East.
Exactly. And
but
like
until you actually go there, I think you have a totally different perspective on what it's like. What's been your experience? Yeah,
I mean, obviously, like there are, and this is kind of the blanket statement I put over most conflicts or, you know, anything that's kind of going on that's, you know, negative, I guess, is that there are extremists in every walk of life.
Yeah.
I mean, in America, we have more school shootings last year than we had in days of the year. So like there are extremists everywhere, you know, it just, whatever is the target of like the media is kind of the bad guy, right? You know, whatever it is at the time. And my experience living over there was like totally different than everything I grew up seeing on the news, you know, like very welcoming culture. Obviously there are extremists that took advantage just in the same way that like Catholic priests take advantage of children, right?
Sure.
Like over there, it's just different with the extremists there. Like, but like I said, like everywhere has kind of extremists. It's just like what is the topic, right? So, yeah, I mean, very loving, caring culture. Like they have a celebration called Eid, and their whole thing is like being charitable, like giving people like gifts and food and like taking care of their communities and things. Like they really do care about their people and people that live in their countries. And the thing is, like, no matter what country you go to, like you have to follow the rules of that country and be respectful of that culture, you know? So, I mean, and that goes whether you're just like a worker or if you're a content creator. I mean, look at like, we could talk about like Logan Paul. Like he went to Japan and greatly disrespected that country. And we just had this other guy, Vitali, who just got, I think he's in Thailand or Singapore. I can't remember where he went, but he was like live streaming and like did some really offensive stuff and now he's in prison in Thailand.
Oh man, don't mess around with Singapore, dude.
Dude, and I mean, even like Russia, like North Korea, you know, like they're like, when you're in a place, you are a visitor, and so you need to like respect where you're at. But it definitely like broadened my view of the world. I was, you know, fortunate enough to be able to travel a lot while we lived over there. So like my dad's work colleague got married to a Thai girl, and so with that means like you go to her village where she's from, and like you have the wedding there. So like we went to like remote Thailand, like flew to Bangkok for like a day, and then went to a smaller airport where there was like no security. Like you don't go through a security, you just walk into and then get on this small little like, you know, 12 passenger Aztec Piper type of plane, and then land on a dirt runway, take a van into the middle of literally nowhere. So
oh my gosh.
Like people and like I said, like it definitely like broadened my view of the world and how fortunate we really are here.
Oh heck yeah.
You know, like people think like it's hard here, like everything's hard, life is hard. I'm like, bro, I've been to Cambodia where kids are like kicking cans in the street for fun. Like, yeah, this is and the, you know, like being non-binary, like people are like, wow, why'd you come back to America? Like you could have lived anywhere. Like, well, I still feel like I'm as free to be who I am here out of any other country right now. Even though like right now, like our government is like kind of trying to wipe trans people, non-binary people off the map. Like we've been removed from websites. Like we're effectively like ghosts to the government.
Well, I think when Trump got into office, one of his main talking points was like getting trans people out of sports, you know, like
and the military. But like,
oh, military too.
Oh yeah. But like the thing with that is like, if trans people want to go fight for my freedom, like they should be allowed to do that. Like they're willing to sacrifice their lives for us to have the freedoms we have here. Like who's to tell them that's wrong?
Yeah, I think anybody that would be serious enough to sign up to lose their life would probably follow the rules and kind of fall in line as to whatever the military objective is.
For sure.
They're not their sexual identity is not going to impact the mission, I would imagine.
Correct.
You know,
and
just
like
let them do the job.
If you want to talk about problems in the military, like let's talk about like the you know, rape that happens in the military. Yeah. It's prolific. It's more of a problem than trans people, I promise you. And as far as like the athlete thing goes, like, do you know the percentage of trans athletes? It's like 0.012%. Like there's like 12 trans athletes ever. Like
there was like a couple of MMA fighters.
Sure.
There was like a trans person, I think was a biological male, but became a female and was fighting other women, right? And just beating the pulp out of them.
I think that's wrong. I think that is a conversation that needs to be had for sure. Like combat sports, like you are going to kill somebody.
Yeah, like, it's pretty dangerous.
It's very dangerous, but also like if trans people want to compete, we should make like a trans league for them. It would be very small because like I said, there's like 12 trans athletes, but like why can't they be athletes too, you know? So there is a way to do all this. It's just that the most negative, and this is online too, like the most negative voices seem to be the loudest.
For sure. You know? It's like that. Yeah. If you're saying something that's like really polarizing.
Correct.
You know, I'm curious, what was it like going to school in the UAE?
So I actually went to, so it was called ACS, American Community School. It was basically like an international school for, you know, kids whose parents were either working there or, you know, diplomats. I went to school with these kids and their dad was like an assassin. So like it was all kinds of people. But I was like the token, you know, scene kid. Like I had, you know, dyed hair and I had tattoos at like 16. So like, wow, that was pretty, I'm sure, shocking to people there.
Yeah. So your parents were cool with you getting tats like at that age?
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, my mom took me to get my first ones when I was 16, you know, and then I was like, oh, it's over. Like, this is
we're getting covered.
We're doing it. And then,
but you are.
yeah, for sure. I mean, my dad took me to Ireland. Well, we were living overseas, right? So we went to Ireland for, I think it was Christmas, just me and him. And we were going there to see, oh my gosh, it was Asking Alexandria, Bless the Fall. I can't remember who else played, but those were like the main.
Oh, sick.
Like that was cool. Like we got to travel to go to like shows. So like we went to Madrid to see 30 Seconds to Mars. Like, you know, my dad's very into like rock music. So
yeah,
we kind of share that commonality, which is awesome.
Jared Leto, man.
He's taking some heat right now too, I guess. But yeah, it's
allegations.
Yeah, you know, which we could do a whole another podcast about cancel culture. But
have you checked out his cult yet, or his
supposed
cult?
What's funny about it is that even back then, and like when I saw them on I think it was the This Is War album tour cycle.
Okay.
When we went to Madrid, and they had, you remember those like silicone bracelets that everyone used to wear like in high school? So they had a big like thick one, and I wore it on my ankle because it was so big. And it literally said, "This is a cult," with like the, you know, the 30 Seconds to Mars like triangle on it.
Oh yeah, because they printed
literally
merch
said, "This is a cult," and I was like, "Well, yeah, we knew this. Like, this is not shocking to me in any." But yeah, I guess he has like an island, and they do like Camp Mars, which like I don't know what the hell. What are they doing there?
Well, I think
is it like
it's
a music camp or?
Well, I think he like probably performs, but it's my understanding that
is it just him or is his brother there too?
It's him, and I don't know if any of the other band members are there, but like everyone who's a fan of Jared and 30 Seconds to Mars, they go to like, what is it, like an island?
It's an island,
and they just hang out, and you can pay like extra for one-on-one time with Jared.
Oh, okay, that seems
like,
pretty culty. That seems pretty like what's going on.
It kind of reminds me of the Holyfield cult from, or the Buddha Field.
Oh yeah,
the Buddha Field.
What was the one? Yeah.
Holy hell.
Oh, that's the one that Joe Rogan bought his theater. That's where the mothership is?
Yes.
I haven't watched that documentary, but I need to check it out.
The mothership isn't there, but he was looking at that building. That's right.
He moved to the other one, but the mothership's the one that had like the swastikas on the wall, and they had to like paint over the swastikas. And the guys, instead of painting the wall, they just painted over the swastika like white. So it was just like a white swastika. He was like, no,
I did not hear about this.
He talks about it on the podcast. It's so funny. But the comedy mothership is actually sick. I got to go, I had a job in Austin, and I was like, the job ended at like 7 p.m. I was like, I could go to a show. So I just like drove down to whatever 6th Street or wherever the comedy store is. And it was sick. It was really cool. Like the little speakeasy bar that's downstairs was sick, and very, very funny, like improv type show that I went to. But yeah, I don't know what's going on Jared Leto's island. It seems very, I don't know, interesting. As long as they're not drinking the Kool-Aid and like killing each other, you know. Like, I'm okay with it.
As long as we're not handing out cyanide tablets, exactly. I think we'll be good.
Which hopefully it doesn't get to that point. He is going to be in the new Tron movie, which is pretty cool.
Perfect.
Yeah,
I enjoyed his performance in Blade Runner. I was like, this guy is crazy.
What was the other one?
Man.
Mr. Nobody was sick. I remember seeing him in Fight Club.
Oh, I didn't know he was in that.
Yeah, he's in one of the first like basement fights.
Dang.
It just as an extra, but he gets like obliterated.
Oh man.
But yeah, he was like young Jared Leto.
Yeah, he's an interesting human being.
Definitely. Like, his ability to like cross over so well into acting has been very like cool to see. And it's funny seeing like comments online that are like, wait, Jared Leto's in a band? Like just like one of the biggest bands ever, really.
Biggest rock band. Probably since U2.
For sure. I mean, just massive, and, you know, sell out arenas and stadiums all over the world. You know, like they're crushing it.
I think he played Rocketown like a long time ago, maybe in the early 2010s.
That's crazy.
If you're from, like, Rocketown is kind of like not a thing anymore.
That was the skate park one, right?
Yeah, it was a skate park, but there was like 3 venues too. There's like a really small room, maybe like 200 cap, and then they had the white building that was like 800 cap, and then they had the huge room that was like 1200.
Well, I never got to see a show there, but in 2017 I'm pretty sure that's where we went, because I was on Warped Tour that year. I worked for Alt Press. I was doing like their like correspondent, like journalist vlogs and stuff about like life on Warped Tour, and with that came like doing all the behind the scenes of, you know, AP cover shoots and stuff. And,
AP, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Sick. And you work for them?
I did, yeah. And Mike Shea actually just reached out to me recently. He's working on like a new like zine, but he sold Alt Press, so he's not even like, he was like the founder, president, whatever. But he's working on some other stuff now, which is pretty cool. But Neck Deep actually was doing their like AP cover shoot at Rocketown in like the skate park, and so I got to film like behind the scenes with Neck Deep, and that was pretty cool. But I had never gone to a show.
That's sick.
At Rocketown, but I've heard, you know, legendary.
Yeah, so tomorrow, this guy named Wes Breedwell is coming over. He used to work at Rocketown.
Oh, no way.
And he got fired back in 2012 for wearing like it was like a pro-gay marriage shirt.
God forbid.
And he works for a Christian venue, you know.
Jesus.
So I think he got like a massive
Crazy,
talking to.
bro. He got lectured.
Yeah, he got lectured, and
about
then
how that's not Jesus-like, even though Jesus hung out with like
he hung out with everybody.
prostitutes and poor people, and like,
yeah.
I swear, if he came back today, they would try to, like, ICE would detain him.
Yeah, they'd be like, we gotta put this guy away. We gotta send this guy back.
Fucking crazy.
This guy's nuts.
And I think the world's so messed up right now because we're literally like, people are bombing his hometown, Jesus's hometown. Like,
oh yeah,
that's probably
the
why.
Gaza Strip.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, that's probably why.
It's pretty awful over there, man.
It's very sad. And you know, I have friends, because I obviously like spent time in the Middle East and the UAE. Like, I have friends that I remember, like, my friend is Syrian, and he was like, my hometown is rubble. Like, my passport is useless. Like, that's
someone you grew up with.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
I mean, so not just one, like several people that I know. You know, I have really like dear friends of mine that are like Palestinian, Jordanian, and like the thing is, like, as teenagers, like, it wasn't about like where you're from. Like, no one's like different like that. Like, nobody like hates each other like that. It's just like, that's where you're from. You know, it's like,
yeah,
it's just, it sucks. Like, I think that, you know, we should like, adults should probably sit down and have conversations and not just like obliterate people. Like, that doesn't do any good. And also, like, you want to take over this land, but you're bombing it to smithereens. Like, there's nothing there for you to take. Right?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
What's the end goal here?
Well, I would make the argument. Sorry, this is my show. I'm going to say whatever I want.
Do it.
I'm going to make the argument that Israel just straight up sucks. That land today is not good land. I know Jesus walked there.
Sure.
It's special to me for that reason.
Sure.
But like, dude, it's not a good place. Also, do Jewish people and Israelis need their own country? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think we should necessarily
do they need
have
nuclear weapons? That's the real question.
I don't know
bro.
if anybody. I don't know if anybody does. And Oppenheimer, when he, you know, figured all that stuff out, he literally said, like, I regret doing this because I know this will lead to the end of the world.
I have become death, or I
have become death, the destroyer of worlds.
Exactly.
Like, he was like, oh, I fucked up.
Like, I created something really bad on behalf of the United States government.
And now it's going to be taken advantage of. And it is. But yeah, it sucks, man. Like, I hate that innocent people. I hate that anybody has to die over this stuff. But especially, you know,
this is a
good that shouldn't be involved. No, please.
Within reach.
What do you got?
Annie Jacobsen.
Oh God,
Nuclear
dude.
War.
She was just on Stephen Bartlett's podcast.
Great book.
Holy crap, dude. I listened to the audiobook and I was just like jaw on the floor the whole time.
The amount of nuclear weapons during like the rise of nuclear weapons and like really from the 50s to the 1990s or when the wall fell. There's so many nukes. We could have blown up the earth a million times.
Have you seen the video of like the timeline of like nukes being set off and stuff, like tested during that period that you're talking about? There's a video on YouTube. Somebody like tracked them all where they are. It's disturbing because it starts off like bloop, bloop.
I have not seen that.
And then
video.
Just like at the end, it's just like brrr, just like fucking explosions everywhere. It's like why? But yeah, that book, Annie Jacobsen, is for those that don't know this book, like it basically talks about what the first like 72 hours.
Yeah, it starts off as like a scenario, and she like walks you through what would happen if there
basically we're all dead.
Yeah, things are very bad. Yeah. I mean, I have all of her books except for maybe a couple. They're all up here. You can't. Well, maybe you can see them, but she's one of my favorite writers. Just historical writers. Yeah. She never reveals like if she's conservative or
which I also
liberal,
think is great
which
because
is perfect,
it doesn't matter
because she's just interviewing people, and it's more about just the facts of what has happened in Area 51, for example.
Yeah, dude, did you just see that there was like a massive fire at Area 51 like yesterday?
Well, that probably, to me, that means they're covering something up.
Probably.
They just burn it. And I think there's a theory that all war is just to erase history.
Well, they say like those who win the war write the history, right?
Yeah.
So like, do we really know what happened ever?
No, I question. Look, Kay,
Everything.
I question all history.
Me too. Me too.
Like I don't.
It's very fascinating to me.
I don't subscribe to one particular teaching of history. I try to learn from as many sources as I can and kind of construct my worldview from there. So I would suggest that others do the same.
For sure.
What you learned in school is probably not
most
what
likely not.
happened.
And you know, that's something living overseas. Like I was like, oh, everything I was taught in America was very like sheltered and like not correct and like for a purpose.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know, right now we're watching, and this is crazy that we've gone into like not a music podcast, but
let's talk about
gives,
whatever
like,
you want.
It gives context to like who I am as a person.
No, and I want to hear how
well.
I want to get to moving from the Middle East back to the States and cover that too, but go ahead.
Yeah. It's what's interesting is like when I was living overseas, the history I was taught there was like more global and less like US history based.
Yeah.
And, you know, here, I guess online, the discourse is like, oh, the Germans and, you know, the Holocaust and all this stuff. And I'm like, you guys know that we like put people in camps here too in the 40s. We put Japanese people in internment camps, and then we put those Japanese people on planes to go bomb their own people. Like, we are no better.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's humans are awful.
People have this idea that the United States is like the savior of the world.
No, absolutely
and
not.
that's
We just do all our bad stuff under the cloak of like darkness.
Sure.
You know.
Well, we also hired all of the Nazi scientists post World War II.
And they all work for NASA.
Yeah, it's in Operation Paperclip. You can read it. It's another Annie Jacobsen book.
Yeah.
We're not like the like the white savior thing.
Jesus.
That was popular like in I was brought up around that.
Sure.
You know, missionaries going. I don't think there's anything wrong with going to another country and like helping people and teaching them about Jesus, but a lot of the time it's portrayed as like I went on a missions trip and I took a picture of myself with all these black kids. Check it out. Like, wow, whoa, you're so
good for
benevolent,
you, bro. Yeah, like cool.
I think at the time, like it was like an honor.
It was like a patch to get on your coat or whatever. Yeah. Wow.
Which I went on some of those trips, and it actually helped me understand what it's like in other parts of the world. I went to Ecuador twice.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, definitely.
But Kay, walk us through how you got from the UAE, growing up there in high school and stuff, to becoming a young adult, working for AP.
Yeah. So basically, like when I was graduating high school, my dad's whole like mindset was, you need to get a degree before you do what you want. I was like, okay. And
it's exactly what I was told.
Right. So I'll never forget my English teacher. She was like trying to teach us how to like take tests, and I'm a really bad test taker. I get really bad like test anxiety. Like no matter if it's like my driver's test or like a school paper, like I don't know why I just get such bad anxiety, because like the fear of failure, I guess, right? And my English teacher always said, like, you just have to learn how to play the game. She was like, the answers are always within the test, right? So I was like, okay. So when my dad told me that, I was like, okay, I need to play the game. And he was like, you can either go back to America, or you can, you know, and go to university and do the whole college thing in America, or you can, you know, go to a trade school. And I was like, okay, interesting. And at the time I had taken a local like photography class, and the guy leading the class, he liked, you know, how I was interacting with other students, and he ended up asking me if I wanted to assist him on a shoot. And I was like, sure. So we went up to Dubai, which was like an hour from where we lived in Abu Dhabi, which is like the UAE like capital. And we met up with 2 Formula One race car drivers, and they had like the next year's Maserati. And the photographer that was leading the class, he shot for Evo magazine, which is like a British motorsports magazine. And so the mission was to go out into the desert and photograph these cars.
Sick, dude.
Right? So this was my first introduction to like
so dope
photography and like cool stuff. And I was like, this is amazing, you know. And I ended up taking a photo of like the photographer taking a photo of the cars, and we were in front of this like roadside like rug, like big ornate rug like warehouse, right? And that's where they like positioned the cars for this photo. And I'm pretty sure that photo got put into the magazine that I took. So like one of my first photos, right?
You had an eye for it.
Exactly. So I then was like, okay, like I need to dive deeper into this. So I found a school in Dubai called SAE Institute, and I'm pretty sure the school is originally from Australia, but they have campuses all over the world.
I think they have one. They have one
here. They have one here.
Oh, in Nashville.
Yeah.
Sick.
So it's the School of Audio Engineering.
Yeah.
But the other campuses outside of Nashville teach other things as well. So the one that I went to taught web design, film production, games development, animation, like a bunch of different practices, right? So I told my dad, I was like, hey, I found this school that teaches film production, and they offer bachelor's degrees in 3 years instead of 4. It's just like school, no breaks, right? So 3 years straight, and then you graduate with bachelor's, whatever. And I was like, I think I want to do this. And it would allow me to get a degree, and then I can pursue film, right? So I ended up at the ripe age of 18, basically moving to Dubai by myself, lived in an apartment, and went to school. And on my 18th birthday and for my high school graduation, my mom took me skydiving at the skydive drop zone in Dubai, which like you drop over the palm.
Whoa.
Right? And I was like, this is crazy. And I had just started getting into YouTube and things like that. And back then they would make you like a video edit and put it on a DVD, which like, if you don't know what a DVD is, back in my day.
What's that?
What's that? But while we were waiting for them to edit our video, we were just kind of like sitting around, and there was a skydiver from Egypt. He went by the name Shady, and I'm like a big Eminem fan, so I always like remembered like his name. And he was like looking at some footage, and I kind of walked over to him. I was like, hey, what are you working on? He was like, oh man, I have all this footage. I really want to edit it, but like I don't know how to edit. And I was like, I can edit it for you. So I literally sat on the floor right there and edited him like a video. And he was like, this is dope. And then 2 weeks later, I get a phone call from him, and he's like, hey, the CEO of Skydive Dubai wants you to, like, do you want to come intern here as a videographer and editor? And I was like, well, okay, sure. So
sick. This is after 1 year of school?
This was before, like, right when I was starting school.
Wow, okay.
So I would go to film school every day, and it was like, like 3-hour class. And then I would take like a $2 cab ride over to Skydive Dubai and film there until sunset every day.
Oh my gosh.
For like 2 years. So I got to skydive for free, like tandem, but like I got to skydive for free because they would all go at sunset together, like the whole team, as like we made it through the day, kind of, like an unwinding skydive, if you will. And I got to meet some really cool people. One of the princes, or whatever, one of the princes of Dubai, like kind of owned the drop zone. He's like a very like, big like sports adrenaline junkie type of guy. So like I got to do some wild stuff, like actually I just made a post about it today. Felix Baumgartner, who did that skydive from space, the Austrian guy, he came there was like a parachuting championship in Dubai like 2 months after he jumped out of his little pod in the stratosphere. Dude,
I watched that live.
I did too.
It like almost, it made me like want to cry.
For sure. When he said his like, his iconic quote before he stepped off the landing.
Yeah, it was interesting, man.
Yeah. He said, sometimes you have to go up really high to realize how small you really are.
Dang.
And then he said, I'm coming home. And then he steps off. And when he said that live, I was like, damn, what would I say? Like, what would be my like movie, like one small step for man, one giant leap for man? Like, what's your quote, your iconic quote? I was like, I got to figure this out.
That was one of the craziest things I've ever seen.
One of the craziest things I've ever seen.
Like,
so I got to interview him 2 months after that skydive.
Oh my God.
And it was just like a quick off the cuff, didn't have time to plan anything. And I was like, how many times did you have to pee?
That was like, your first question?
Yeah, I was like, what's the most human thing I could ask him that I would want to know? Like, and he was like, I think he said like 4 or 5, whatever. He was like, yeah, I mean, it took a long time to get up
into the suit,
into his like little position up in the stratosphere. And I asked him like if he preferred sugar-free over regular Red Bull, and like just some random questions.
That's the stuff people want to know.
Exactly.
Though.
And like my friend actually texted me yesterday, and he was like, it's interesting that you asked him about like needing to pee up there. And he was like, some kid once asked Neil Armstrong how many times he had to pee when he was like on the moon or, like going to the moon or whatever. And he was like, it's the most human question you can ask somebody, you know? And, you know, unfortunately, I made that post yesterday because Felix actually passed away in a I think a paragliding accident in Italy. And I was like, oh my gosh.
He jumped from space, didn't die.
Correct. And then almost died. Lost consciousness for a second.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Because he was like somersaulting. And so his brain was just like, but, you know, he survived that. And then like, but, you know, it's sad, but like adrenaline junkies usually meet that sort of end. You know, like you can
Steve
only push
Irwin.
it. Exactly. You can only push it so far. And then, you know, death comes knocking for you. But yeah, so he unfortunately passed away. But I got to meet him and he was just such a kind human. And it was, you know, a very brief interaction, but even still, like he took the time out of all these media people that were there, right?
Yeah.
To just like answer some questions. And like, it's moments like that really like inspired me for the rest of my life. Like I film rocket launches now because of people like him, you know, like it's crazy. But back to your question about like how I got back here. I had a band in the UAE briefly.
Sick.
We were like melodic hardcore. Never really got anywhere. Obviously, there were like 5 metal bands in the entire region, right? In the entire like country. But we were called Nightmare Overdose. And all of our recordings sounded like demos, essentially. Like all of our songs were just like local band demo sounds,
everybody's
right?
Got those, man.
Exactly. We played one show in a warehouse that my friend owned. He like built cars, like custom cars. And I was like, hey, can we throw a show, like a Halloween show in your warehouse and just like set up a PA and whatever. We had like 5 metal bands come through and we all just played this show. It was sick. But then I was like, you know, I was like 19 and I wanted to start dating and I couldn't do that there. Like PDA is first of all not allowed. Even if you're married, you can't really hold hands and like walk in. So like me being a part of the LGBT community, I was like, I really can't date here because they'll arrest me or deport me or kill me. Like, I don't know. So I told my dad I was going to quit school.
Were there a lot of burqas there? Like women totally covered?
I mean, yeah, but it's not like
in the UAE. It's a little bit more.
It's basically like the Vegas of the Middle East. Gotcha. I would say it's the most like open. It's definitely not like Saudi. Like Saudi Arabia is still very conservative in comparison. So the UAE. I mean, I had like a mohawk. Like a red mohawk. Like I just didn't care for whatever reason. Like I was walking around tattoos, mohawk. Like I think a lot of people thought that I was like famous because I looked so out of place. I was just some dumb kid. But so I told my dad I was going to leave and come back to America because I was like, I'm kind of over it. And he was like, well, I have an opportunity to move to Australia. And my school was from Australia, right? So he was like, you can go back to America or you can go to Australia with me and finish your degree. I was like, all right. So we moved to Perth, Western Australia, which is the most isolated city on the planet. It's the farthest away from anything, right? The day we landed in Perth, Make Them Suffer was playing a show at a bar. And I was like, Dad, we have to go.
I'm going.
We got to go. So we went to this bar, and in Australia, the drinking age is 18. So like, I could get into a bar at 19, right? Mm-hmm. So we go to this bar and we're like, hey, we'd like to go see the show. And they were like, do you have your IDs? And I was like, well, here's my passport. We just moved here today. And the guy at the door was like, no, you need a local Australian ID. And I was like,
dude, Australia is whack.
I was like, bro, we just got off a plane. And he's like, nah, sorry. I was like, dang. And he's like, but they're playing an all ages show tomorrow at this venue called HQ. It was like an old YMCA, and they had a venue and a skate park and stuff. It's basically their like the end or their chain reaction, like their version of like the small local like hype venue, right? Mm-hmm. So I was like, okay, cool. So the next day I go and bring my camera. It's Make Them Suffer, North Lane, and I think Stray from the Path was with them. I can't remember, but Make Them Suffer is from Perth, so it was like a hometown show for them. It was North Lane with Adrian, the original vocalist. And that was the first show I ever photographed. Wow. And I was like, I need to keep doing this. And at the time I had been making YouTube, like covers on YouTube. Yeah. So anytime an American band would come through, I would hit them up and be like, hey, like, I would love to come photograph your show. And they'd be like, oh my God, we know you from YouTube. Here's a photo pass. So I got to like photograph pretty much anybody I want. Attila, Bless the Fall, like anybody that kind of came through, right? And it's so funny. I was actually telling a photographer here this 2 nights ago, because she was like, man, like some of the local photographers hate me, blah, 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 like just drama shit. And I was like, when I lived in Perth and I was photographing all these shows for American bands, the local photographers started talking shit about me, like behind my back, because I came into the scene and took over. And I was like, what? Like, what? I'm just trying to like do the same thing you're doing. Like, there's enough room for all. It's not like I'm getting the only photo pass available. Like, right. I just used what I had available to me, which was my connection through these bands, loving their music and covering their songs.
I hate when people turn stuff like that into a competition.
For sure.
And it kind of reminds me, there's this movie that we just watched with Nicolas Cage. It's called The Surfer. Have you seen it?
No, Nicolas Cage is, no offense, but he's like the worst.
Dude, he's the worst, he's the best, worst actor.
Exactly.
But you got to see The Surfer, Kate.
Okay, I'll check it out.
So
I'll put it on my list.
He's going back to his childhood beach.
Okay.
And there's these local Australians that are like, don't live here.
Wait, is
don't
he playing?
Surf here.
Is he playing an Australian guy or like an American?
No, he's like an American guy that grew up on this secluded beach, and his dad he's trying to buy like his childhood home.
Okay, understood.
And so he goes back, and it turns into this whole other thing. But he gets in these quarrels with these local Aussies, and it's what your story kind of reminded me of.
That's amazing.
Like, don't live here. Don't photograph here.
Yeah, exactly. You know? No, real.
That's funny.
But you know, like, just crazy, like that YouTube connection and what it really like evolved into. So
it's amazing, man. What year did you start getting on YouTube?
Oh my God,
making videos.
The year YouTube started.
Oh, no way.
Like, I learned that I could scream in middle school.
Hell yeah.
Like, as a joke. Like, we were at like school lunch, and like I was with like the scene kids, right? Like all the emos. And we were listening to From First to Last, and Ride the Wings of Pestilence came on, and there's that like bridge where there's like the screams in there, and my friends were like, "Kay, scream this part," like just messing around, and I did it, and I was like,
everyone was like in shock.
We were like, "What?" I was like, "Oh my God!" So I went home that day, plugged a microphone into a guitar amp, and turned my camera on and recorded a cover of Bodies by Drowning Pool. That was the first video I ever put on YouTube.
Sick, dude.
I don't know, this was probably 2010, 2009, I don't know.
Heck yeah.
Long time ago. So I'd been doing YouTube for years, and...
Were you like consistent, or were you just kind of doing videos whenever you felt like it?
I was trying to be consistent, but also I didn't have the money to make instrumentals or hire anybody. So it was like, I was just doing whatever I could. And so, I mean, like, myself and like Lauren Babick was also starting at that time, and so we were like collabing on stuff. Like, we did like Memphis Mayfire covers and like whatever, Woe Is Me, like, you know, whatever we kind of could do, but it was over the original track every time because we just didn't have the means to make the music, right? I remember one year while I was still living in the UAE, I told my dad I wanted to go to Warped Tour. 2011. I was like, we gotta fly home and go to Warped Tour. He was like, okay, well, your aunt is getting married in San Francisco, or like in Napa Valley, whatever. Mm-hmm. There's a Warped Tour in San Francisco. We can go there. I was like, cool. So we fly to San Francisco. I'm in the signing line for Motionless in White, and Chris looks at me and he goes, "Are you Kate the Screamer from YouTube?" And I was like, "What? Yeah. And he's like, "You're coming on stage and you're performing Abigail with us today at Warped Tour in front of 30,000, whatever.
Oh my
thousands
God,
of people."
That's so sick.
And that was like my first time on stage. So I didn't really know how to contain myself. I had like a backpack on still on stage because my brain was not properly functioning. But that was the first time I ever got on stage. So I owe a lot to Chris.
Holy cow.
And I told him this when we were young. I was like, you know, backstage working for Red Jumpsuit, and we were in like a food line for like a food truck. And I was like, "Hey man, like, I've never really told you this, but like, because of you, like, my entire career took off." And he looked at me and he was like, "If it wasn't me, it would have been someone else. You deserve to be here." And I was like, wow, dude.
What a kind thing to say, man.
Like, because he could have been like, "Yep." But no, like, just so kind. But, you know, back to Australia, I was walking home from school one day, and this guy that went to my school that I had seen a bunch of times, but we never talked, but he was clearly like a metalhead. And we were both like shy or whatever. I was on the other side of the street. He crosses the street and he's like, "Hey, you're Kay from YouTube, right?" I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "Do you want to be in a band?" "Yeah." "Cool." So we like started a project there called Morning Lilith, and we played, local shows, but it's really hard to get out of Perth. It's just hard to get to other places. There.
I know it takes like 22 hours to go there.
It's insane.
From here.
It's insane.
How many hours does it take to get to Australia from the UAE? Is it less or more?
I mean, it was probably like 16.
Yeah.
It was significant. It was a significant amount of time. Yeah. But so I mean, so it's kind of like a miracle that make them suffer got out of Perth. Like if you the saying is there, if you can make it out of Perth, you can make it anywhere.
Wow.
Like if you can break out of that city, you're good.
Well, everything is really expensive there.
Exactly.
So like when bands would record, like there's a band called it was like a Christian metal band from
Australia,
from Sydney.
Oh man. I'm trying to think.
I'm blanking on their name, but they recorded with Brian Hood, and like I hung out at the studio at Brian's studio, and they're like, yeah, like we love it here. Like all the snacks are so cheap. Like they're like stuff.
No, sure, for real. Yeah. Like Dr. Pepper, because I'm obsessed with it. Dr. Pepper in Perth, it was like $6 a can.
Oh my god!
Can you imagine paying $6 for a can of soda here? Crazy, but because it's
imported from the U.S.
Well, theirs are actually imported from Great Britain.
A different bottling company, yeah.
Correct, but in Great Britain they still use cane sugar, so it tastes better.
Yummy.
It tastes better.
By the way, there's 2 Dr. Peppers in the fridge down there.
I need one now.
Yeah, get one. Yeah, I was kind of impressed. Like I went to the gas station and there's just as much Dr. Pepper as there is Coke for sale.
For sure. So, it's so
are you
good.
going with the
Thank
heavy?
You. Cheers for this. Oh yeah, the heavy. But yeah, like that whole trajectory was kind of crazy. Like they had this festival in Australia for a bit. I think I went to like the last one in I can't remember if it was 2013 or 2014. The Australians can correct me. It was called Soundwave. It was effectively like their Warped Tour, but it was like bands would come in. So that year it was like Bring Me the Horizon, Paramore, Memphis Mayfire, that band Defiler. I don't know if you know that
I've heard of them.
Cryomancer was like my
shit.
What
a crazy band name.
Woe Is Me was playing, but it was after Tyler left the band before Issues I think right before Issues started, or maybe right after Issues started. But I think Doriano and Hans were in Woe Is Me, so it was definitely right when Issues started with Michael and Tyler. And I remember I was walking home from school, and I lived like 3 blocks from my school with my dad. We had like an apartment, and it was like the day or like 1 or 2 days before Soundwave. And my dad and I had tickets to go, and I'm walking home, and outside of my apartment there's like a bus stop, like a city bus stop, like a bench. Lo and behold, and I can give you the photo because I have it. Lo and behold, who's sitting on that bench? None other than Kellin Quinn from Sleep With Sirens and Matty Mullins from Memphis Mayfire are sitting on a bench outside my house. And I'm like, I have to say hi to these guys. Like I've got to.
They were just in town to play a show, and they're
there
like
to play
around.
Soundwave, and they were just hanging out, like getting acclimated.
Gosh.
It's a long flight, so like we usually take like a day to like kind of adjust to the time change.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, hey, I'll see you guys at Soundwave, and they were like, hey, we know you from YouTube, and I'm like, this is crazy. And I can't remember if I have both their numbers, but I can't remember if I got them that day or like later down the line. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Ended up going to Soundwave. It was incredible. I got on stage, I think again with Motionless in White, and again the local like musicians and stuff were like, we hate you. You just drop out. You can't just do guest vocals all the time. I was like, yes, I can. Like, leave me alone. So anyway, graduate school, and I didn't walk with Michael. I didn't like go to the ceremony or anything because my dad and I had gone to see Bring Me, Of Mice and Men, Let Live on the they did like that American Dream tour, but they did a version of it in Australia beforehand. Wow. So we went to that, and then like 2 weeks later they were playing my hometown on that tour. And Issues was like, I think it was Let Live, Issues, maybe The Devil Wears Prada, Of Mice, and Bring Me on that tour. And I told my dad, I was like, hey, I'm not going to go to my graduation because I have to go to the show in the U.S. So I go to that show back in my hometown. I made my brother drive me because I didn't have my license. I make my brother drive me to the show. Issues comes on stage. Michael recognized me from YouTube, jumps on the barricade and puts the mic in my face. And so I like screamed whatever song it was, Hooligans or whatever it was.
You already knew the lyrics.
I already knew the lyrics.
Yeah.
And so that was sick. And then Of Mice and Men comes on, and I'm wearing my of my shirt with the Australian flag on it that I got at the show in Australia.
Sick.
Austin pulls me out of the crowd onto stage, and I have this on video. Someone filmed it for me, and he goes, "I found this kid on YouTube. On YouTube, this is the Flood." And we just like did the Flood together, and it was crazy, dude. Like, I was like, this is like my guy. Like, I loved watching. He was such a good front man, like
yeah.
And just like a presence, because he's so tall. He's just a presence on stage, right? And killer vocalist.
I feel like in those kind of instances, you just grow up immediately.
For
like
sure.
you learn how to command a crowd.
For sure.
It's just like, okay, here we go. I have to.
Yeah.
I can't just cower in the corner.
Exactly.
I was like, I gotta get up in people's faces.
Yeah.
Like,
you got to do the thing.
Yeah. Wow.
And so that was cool by itself. After the show, I was waiting for my brother to pick me up, and outside the venue, the buses were parked to the side. There was like a barricade, and I was like just stood hanging out of the barricade. There was like a security guard there. Skylar from Issues comes off the bus, sees me, comes over. He's like signing people's stuff, and he goes, "Hey, Tyler wants to see you on the bus." And I was like, "Sorry, what?" He's like, "Yeah, just come over the barricade, go on the bus." I was like, "All right." So I go onto Issues bus, and Tyler and Michael are there, and they're like, "Hey, we love you. Like, we love your shit. Like, you're gonna kill it. Like, keep doing your thing." Got Tyler's number, and like stayed in touch over the years. He's in town right now, actually, doing some writing stuff. But like, getting to meet the people that I looked up to, and them actually turning out to be dope and like not just like
weird,
dicks or whatever, was so cool. And then I started, photographing Warped Tour and like just getting really ingrained into the scene in the US. And then I moved out to California because I thought that's where I had to be to like make it as a filmmaker or whatever. Turns out you don't need to be there. It's very expensive, and like it's very oversaturated, right? So
how long were you there for?
I was in California for 8 years.
Oh, so you were like, you stuck it out.
I really was trying to do the thing, right?
And that's where you were right before you moved to Nashville?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
What year did you move here?
I moved here at the end of 2021. So during COVID, because most of my friends moved here from there because of COVID, and like we couldn't do anything. We couldn't go anywhere.
You're just locked down.
We were like,
we got to go to a
crazy.
slightly more free place.
Yeah, basically. But it's crazy because like my band from Australia, we actually won a Battle of the Bands for Warped Tour. So we flew them across the world to play one show, 30-minute set.
Oh my God.
Of Warped Tour.
The logistics behind doing something like that,
insanity.
The amount of emails and
I mean,
texting,
dude, it was like 10 grand just for flights and gear and a van rental. So we played this one set on the Shira Girl stage. It was, some competition. And Issues and Jeffree Star came and watched our set. And I was like, this is so sick. Like, this is so cool. And that was the same Warped Tour. I think like Attila, Chelsea Grant, I can't remember who else, but it was awesome. It was a really cool opportunity. When Warped Tour found out we flew them from Australia, they were like, "Oh, you guys could have played 2 weeks of Warp. We would have just let you stay on." And we were like, we already booked our flights. We couldn't afford to like change the flights. So I was like, it is what it is. And then, I started shooting shows locally in Orange County in California where I lived.
We would have let you tour.
We would have let you. I was like, God,
thanks, man.
Thanks,
that information would have been helpful.
Thanks, bro. Like, maybe we should have told them. Like,
communication, man.
Yep. We learned a lot. But yeah, I started touring with bands doing photo video in about 2014. Some of the first bands I worked for were Escape the Fate, New Year's Day, and halfway through a tour with Escape the Fate, Lacey Sturm had just started making music from Flyleaf. She had just started doing like solo stuff. She had her first single coming out called Rot. And Escape the Fate was playing a bunch of the same festivals as Lacey that summer. And we were like 2 weeks away from the end of tour, and I get a phone call from her manager, Dubs. And he was like, "Hey, when's your tour end?" I told him the date. He was like, "Do you want to fly to Pittsburgh to film a music video for Lacey's first single as a solo artist?" And I was like, dude, Lacey was like a huge inspiration for me growing up.
Courtney and I love Flyleaf.
Bro.
We put it on the big screen downstairs and just jam out sometimes because the songs are so good.
So good, dude.
I'm So Sick or whatever that one song
is.
is.
Dude, and their Flyleaf is playing shows again. like
That's
with the
sick.
original lineup. It's sick.
That's awesome.
Like,
so just a second ago, we were talking about Flyleaf, and you did some work for Flyleaf.
So when Lacey went solo, she was putting her first single out called Rot, and I ended up, getting the call to go film the music video for that, and we ended up filming it in an abandoned glass factory. Like they used to make like glass and like porcelain figurines.
Whoa.
And, yeah, it was really cool, and I also explore abandoned places. That's something that I've loved doing for a long time.
I got a couple tips for you on that.
Let's go.
At least
I'll
in
take
town
them.
that they could check out. So.
Oh yeah, I'm sure I've probably been to them, but
it's possible.
My map is extensive.
Oh,
spots.
sick, dude. Yeah, I want to hear about that.
Yeah, I have a whole podcast about
what
I interview other like explorers about their crazy stories.
Dude, that's some of my favorite stuff when I'm just chilling at the end of the day, like while Courtney's making food or something.
Sure.
I'll put some of those abandoned walkthroughs up.
Oh yeah. So I'll do like a POV photography video, just a walkthrough, and just like pop the photo on the screen.
Dude, some of the camera rigs that those guys are using are incredible, and then they have these high-powered lights to shine into different areas, and
it's wild, dude.
I really like the abandoned castles in Europe.
Yeah,
like,
have you seen the Disney castle houses? Like there's like a whole, it's in Turkey.
No.
They're literally modeled after Disney castles. And it was like a $1,000,000 project. And the guy was just
ran out of money. Yeah.
My friend Banks, he goes by Big Banks. He went there and like explored for like days. And it's just, every house is identical, but they look like Disney castles. It's wild. But anyway, so yeah, we filmed in a glass factory.
Cool.
And it has like a, old smoke chimney. So a lot of the performance shots of Lacey are actually in this chip. We like climbed up in the chimney and we're like, filming in there. And there was like still like little porcelain like dove figurines in the building. There was still like colored glass. So the light would like shine through the holes in the ceiling onto this like blue and like turquoise glass. It
pure
was
eye
sick.
Candy.
So cool. And that was the first time I ever shot a music video with like a proper budget. And I didn't trade. I took like half cash and then half I was like, can you guys buy me this lens kit that I can use for other things in the future?
That's smart, man.
So that's how I like built my gear out, was like, doing half cash and half like, just buy me this piece of equipment.
What's your main camera body right now that you use?
Well, I have a few because I do a few different things now. My main like pride and joy is like my Sony. I shoot on an A7S III. I have an A7R5. I don't know why they make these freaking model numbers are so dumb. Literally just sent in the mail to me today because I shoot rocket launches with a whole media company. So we're finishing out a build out right now. Mm-hmm. So we all have like the same cameras. So I have that camera, and then I think we're getting like an FX6 or so, I don't know, cinema camera. But I mean, I've used Reds and, kind of Blackmagic's, pretty much anything and everything. But Sonys are so easy to travel with and compatible and just good. They're just good.
I know. I want the A7 IV, I think is what it's called. We've been doing, myself and this other guitar player named Christian Colabelli, we've been using the A7S III.
Yeah, it's great.
For our videos, and I've used it. He left it here for a couple weeks actually.
Oh, no,
one time
I'm gonna use that.
Yeah, and so I shot a bunch of guitar stuff with that too, and it's a wonderful camera.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so easy to use. I mean, these are ZV.
Yeah, these are also good too. We use these for like vlogging. Like,
they're the best vlogging cameras ever. Yeah, they look great. They're easy. I literally just like press a button, boop. Yep. I made the settings like years ago, and
they fit in your pocket. Yeah, it's super easy to
ZV-1. There's several other iterations of this camera, but I still think the ZV-1's the best. They did it right the first time.
Yeah, exactly. Like you don't need to like keep, reiterating the same thing. And now they make, I can't remember what it's called. There's like a term for it.
ZV-E10?
No, not the camera. It's like they've now made products that are like meant to fall apart that you have to replace. I can't remember what it's called. It's like,
called planned obsolescence.
That's it.
Yeah.
Planned obsolescence.
Yeah.
Crazy. I just watched a whole like doc about that.
A lot of the appliances in our homes and computers for that matter, Apple computers too, I think are.
Oh, it was Casey Neistat. He just made a video about the Game Boy. And this guy made a Game Boy that's like you don't have to replace.
Oh, sick.
And
it's
the whole video
robust.
the whole video is about planned obsolescence and like how that came to be. And,
yeah.
And he like interviews this tech wizard that like He was like, yeah, I fixed the Game Boy, and you never have to buy another one. Here you go.
Like, I'm really particular about keyboards too.
Yeah,
like,
dude.
If I'm gonna sit at a keyboard for hours,
For sure.
I want it to be
gotta
this
be right.
robust thing. I would love to get like an 80s keyboard, like
a really like tactile,
like an old Dell or like you know what I'm talking about. Like there's certain models, like there's people that are really into that.
For sure.
But I just get the gaming keyboards, and I've gone, even those, they're like over $100 a piece, and I've gone through like 3 of them.
For sure. And they like, I do like the lights though. I like light up. I think light up cute. I'm an LED like light nerd.
Dude, let's make everything RGB.
Dude, I've got freaking, I have like nano leaves on my wall that like react to music and shit. I love LED. My whole house is just like LEDs.
Sick. I love it.
But so I got to do that music video for Lacey. It was dope. I think it's at like 6 million views right now. Like
hell yeah.
One of my biggest projects I've ever done.
And you shot that.
And I shot and edited it. It was sick. And just like a very impactful, like obviously she's very like Christian. She's like very outspoken about it. But this song specifically was basically a message about that her friend Annie was a part of. And Annie was a prostitute back in the day, and she now does outreach to help others get out of prostitution. Yeah. So that's essentially what this entire video was about. And at the end, there's like a message, like, you know, about human trafficking and things like that. Yeah. Like, if you need help, like.
And that's in the video that you shot?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
so that was like the story.
Thing.
That was like the storyline. So it was also, and I'm big on like, you know, any band can do a performance video, but I'm big on storytelling. So like, if you hit me up to shoot a music video, like, you better have a damn storyline, because like we trying to make a story here. Like, you can do a playthrough in your house. I don't care. Right. You can do that anywhere.
We were thinking like a factory.
Yeah,
you know?
We were thinking like a basement.
I want my amp behind me
and like one light. Just one light. I don't want to see us at all. Just all silhouettes.
And then when the breakdown hits, like zoom in on me, like when I'm screaming, you know?
Yeah, real close. And then put it in slow-mo and I stomp. And I'm going to put dirt on my snare drum and it's going to go in the air. Sick. No, storylines. They're sick. More storylines, please. So yeah, that was dope. And then, fast forward, you know, I started making music for myself with a project called Chasing Satellites. And that's like my baby. Started it in 2015. Put out a song called Split, and no playlisting, no marketing, because I didn't know how to do any of that shit back then. In 2016, the song got like 2 million streams on Spotify, just because people loved it. And it was inspired by the movie Split by M. Night Shyamalan, who's like my favorite writer-director. Love his stuff.
Nice.
I call it my little song that could, because it did the thing. I love that song. But never played shows with Chasing Satellites for some reason. I, you know, ended up joining another project called Matriarchs, LA hardcore band. And we've toured Europe, Canada, US a bunch of times. And then last October, I was working on a new Chasing Satellite, or starting to work on a new Chasing Satellites record. And I was like, why am I not playing this stuff live? This is like my baby. So last Halloween, I called Seger and I was like, hey, so do you want to play drums for me? He's like, okay. So I got him and Adam Conran, who is in Dissonation, and my friend Gerardo, who played for the other LA band from Louisiana, but they live here. I pulled them in and I was like, hey, can we play this show? And mind you, I had never thought about like eventually playing live. So that meant I didn't have any multi-tracks, no backtracks, no nothing. So I literally had to start from scratch. And I was like, oh my, and like learning the process of multi-tracks and like backing tracks, harmonies, like any of that stuff. I just had no idea, because I'm a vocalist, you know, I don't write, I don't have the skill to like play guitar or anything. So I didn't know I needed that stuff. And my hardcore band, we just play hardcore music. Yeah. There's no backing tracks. Like it's just us, right? And the first song I put out with Chasing Satellites, called Chasing Satellites, was produced by Josh Schroeder, who does like In Heart's Way, King 810, Lorna Shore.
I'm familiar with him, yeah.
He's great. Lovely guy. Big pinball addict. He loves pinball. Like, you know, Joey Sturgis buys boats with his like producer money. Josh Schroeder buys pinball machines.
Oh my
like
God,
classic old school pinball machines.
That's fun.
So I texted Josh. I was like, hey, do you have the session from Chasing Satellites? He was like, yeah, let me see if I can dig it up. And then he hits me back. He's like, hey, so I can't open it because the like plugins he used back then don't exist anymore. Like the Contact plugins just don't, you can't get them. Like I hit up Contact. I was like, hey, I'm trying to open this old session. They were like, yeah, we can't help you. I was like, you don't keep all that shit?
Dude, that's kind of one of the problems with modern recording is like after about 10 years, those plugins and that session.
Useless.
You can't open that stuff
Useless.
up. And if there's any argument for, I'm a fan of Steve Albini, and that was one of his arguments for why not to do the computer recording thing.
Yep.
Or do some kind of hybrid.
Yeah, like analog and plugins.
Yeah. And I have a friend named Brandon Highfill. He's one of the owners of Eastside Music Supply.
Yeah.
He's big into that with his studio stuff too. But it's so different from the style of music that we play, where we just do everything in the DAW.
Of course. But then you run into problems like this.
Yeah. That's crazy, man.
Crazy. So I had to actually have Columbus Conley, who played for Divisive, and he's a great guitar player, and Norman tag team to make me stems, remake me all stems. So like, God bless those guys. Also, Norman, Columbus, and Seger are like the reason I moved to Nashville. By the way,
yeah.
Like the year before I came out, they flew me here to like do a bunch of covers for Phoenix, like in the early days of like them starting the cover stuff. So we did like 4 songs, and they were like, you should move to Nashville. I was like, nah. And then I flew back to, I was living in San Diego at the time, and in like a pretty rough relationship situation.
Mm-hmm.
And then flew out to the UK to do photo video for a band on their UK tour. And while I was out there, I was like, maybe I should just like break up with this person and move to Nashville. And so at the time, like during that tour, I was literally like, or I could just move back up to Orange County. And I was looking at the cost of like apartments at the time. And this was during COVID, right?
Mm-hmm.
This was like the first tour I did during COVID. And the cost was just, it just like went up so high. I was like, okay, well, let me see how much it is in Nashville. And I was like, oh, I could get like a whole house for like less than what I would pay for a studio. Like there's no question I'm moving.
Well, I think a lot of people followed suit with that.
And now we fucked up the housing market here.
Well, I don't think it's the average person
for sure
that wants to move here the average artist.
Yeah, definitely.
I think in some cases it is like people with a lot of wealth coming out here and buying
like land and stuff.
I think it's more of the people that are buying like, I'm going to buy these 6 condos sight unseen.
For sure.
And you're basically taking that away from someone's starter home.
For sure.
Someone
100%.
in their 30s, some millennial that wants to buy their first home. You're just buying that from out
which we'll never be able to do, by the way. Forget about it.
I mean, I'm going to be honest, like, I'm married to an attorney, and like that's kind of the only reason we're able to afford this house is because she gets paid, a pretty nice rate for what she does. Now, there's a lot of stress that comes with that. And she deals with people. She's a divorce attorney.
God bless.
And does a bunch of other work too.
So she's also like a therapist, essentially.
Yeah.
Because she has to deal with all their stresses.
We've had, like people, hey, the cops are here. What should I do?
Like, what do you mean? What should you do?
Yeah, it's like, hey, I'm arguing with my spouse, Jesus. And we're trying to get our whiskey and gun collection sorted out here. Stuff like that. Like,
yeah,
she
that's
deals
wild.
with that.
That's wild. But
if she didn't have a job like that, I mean, we would actually, our first year of marriage, we lived in Bell Buckle, and we lived at the school that I was working at. I was a music teacher at the web school.
Sure.
And so we lived in a tiny apartment that was maybe 2 of these bedrooms.
Wow.
The entire, with a little bit taller ceilings, but like just a one-shot kitchen, bathroom, like living room, and then bedroom, like all in one kind of space.
Wow.
And
that's incredible.
I do miss living there. I had a great time living there.
Sure.
But
humble beginnings.
She was trying to drive there from, it's basically south of Murfreesboro.
Oh, okay.
And trying to like show up for court at 9 a.m. and dealing with like Murfreesboro to Nashville traffic.
That's crazy.
She was having like mental breakdowns.
For sure.
So she was like, I'm just she's like, fuck it, I'm just gonna buy a house in
Dude,
Clarksville.
For sure. My friend and her wife were just dealing with that because her wife works at the MTSU in Murfreesboro, and they lived in East. And so she was like, I can't freaking do this.
Driving to Murfreesboro in the morning is not so bad.
But going
still,
the back and forth, it's just a lot, man. It's just a lot. And with like the early morning classes and stuff like that, like it's too much. Yeah. So they ended up just moving to Murfreesboro, which awesome.
Yeah.
And they have more space and like a nicer place, whatever. But yeah, so I ended up moving to Nashville. And I was like, where should I live? And I was like, I'm just going to move down the street from Seger.
I was going to say, you might as well just...
It's like 5 minutes from me.
So that's Hermitage, right?
I think it's 7 minutes door to door.
Okay, what's your favorite coffee shop in Hermitage?
I don't drink coffee.
Oh,
Caliber.
Okay.
I do like a chai tea latte, so I'll go to Caliber.
What's your favorite restaurant in
Hermitage?
Yeah.
I think the one that we probably frequent the most is... I think it's called Tres Amigos. It's like a Mexican place.
Oh, dude, I've been there.
So good.
Yeah.
But there's also a new like sushi Japanese place. It's called Umami Thai, I think is the name of the place. It's by the Kroger. It's relatively new, but they have really good food.
Sweet.
And I love sushi. And it's like we live in a landlocked state, so like most people are like, "Why are you eating sushi?" I love sushi. Like I'm not gonna go fly to Florida for I want it here.
Well, there's trucks that go to Savannah. Like I think it's 7 or 8 hours to Savannah. Yeah. So they'll run seafood.
Oh, for sure.
On the trucks. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if they're doing that at like your Kroger sushi.
Right.
But if you go to like a nice restaurant in Nashville, like usually it's like stuff that got there like a few hours ago.
Yeah, and there's a place in the Gulch called Gumbo Bros.
Oh, nice.
And it's like Louisiana, like Cajun food. And my mom's from Lafayette, Louisiana, so I spent a lot of time down there. My grandparents lived down there. My grandparents actually owned like a 8-bedroom bed and breakfast. So like every summer I would spend the summers there and just like eat Cajun food.
Cool.
It was sick. So like anytime I like need like a taste of my childhood, I just get food from there.
Yeah.
I love Cajun food. But yeah, so moved here and we played our first show with Chasing Satellites last October and immediately booked a tour. So we played our first, 9-day, no day off tour.
That's fun.
In February. So it was freezing and I rented Divisive's van and trailer.
Oh yeah. Nick was telling me about that. I work out with Nick every day.
Not knowing the state of the van.
Yeah. It's like, oh, you got to hold the battery like this in this direction.
The trailer lights don't work. It was so cold that the mats on the bunks froze.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, we can't do this.
Now, you do have to know you're renting a van and trailer from a deathcore band. So there's certain
that
things
was owned by Levels beforehand.
Yeah, dude.
So it's been passed around. Yeah. And Levels built the bunks out, like whatever. You basically have to like fall through the center to get to the bottom. There's like, you're like being consumed by mattresses.
I would not fit
in there. It was
in
crazy. And it was Seger's first tour. So, poor baby. He was like, my hands hurt so bad. I was like, yeah, you need to get to get drum gloves and it's cold. And he was like, no, that's lame. I was like, dude, Frank Zumo, the great.
You got to tape them up, take care of your blisters.
Gloves, yeah. And he was like, yeah, I'll be fine. He was not fine. None of us were okay.
Oh, man.
We were not okay. And Gerardo, God bless him, played guitar for me on that tour. And I was like, do you snore? He was like, nope. First night. Chainsaws. I was like, God, I'm going to die. And so I had AirPods in. And sorry, Gerardo, I'm blowing up your spot. AirPods in, noise canceling, music blasting, trying to sleep. And I could still hear this dude snoring.
Oh, my God.
I was like, oh, God. And so I ended up getting super sick because I wasn't sleeping.
Yeah.
I was driving a van and trailer first time. Also, by the way, when Nick came to drop the van and trailer off at Seger's house to load drums and stuff, we had to back it into his driveway. And Nick, God bless him, couldn't do it. And I had never driven a van and trailer, but I fly drones. So everything is like inverted.
Yeah, dude, backing up a trailer. I actually had like way back in the day. I had like a freak out on tour.
I think everyone gets to a point, and so
not an hour, like 30 minutes. Yeah, and I was like, someone else do that. Everyone was asleep. I woke everybody
Nick's
up.
Like trying to get this. He's like going in back and forth about. I was like, just get out of the van. So he gets out. My first time operating a van and trailer was parking it in Seger's driveway perfectly. First try. Nailed it. I was like, oh, I can do this.
Use those mirrors, baby.
Yeah, dude. And just go slow and you just got to go like wiggle it in space. So I ended up doing most of the day drives on that tour. Because I was like, I need to figure out how to, like every other band I've been in, no one let me drive. just because like whatever they wanted to drive, whatever. I don't care. I'll be the DJ. Doesn't bother me. But it was cool learning how to drive a van and trailer, and I feel way more confident now, like on tour and stuff, just knowing that I have that skill. So we did that tour, and then I got so sick. Like the last show was at I think it's called Underdog. It's in East. It's like a small. It's like a country bar.
Yeah, you played on Gallatin Road.
Yeah. And we get on stage, and right before we hit play on the playback, I was like, "Hey, we're Chasing Satellites, and we are not a country band. Sorry about it." And it just rip. So funny, and I'm pretty sure we just like broke the entire PA system. But you know, it is what it is. It was, and I was so sick. Like right after I played, I was like, I need to go home. Yeah. And I just like died in bed for 4 days, just sweating, just sick, dude. And recovered from that, or started recovering from that, and then had to go perform at Emo Night, Nashville. And I did 2 Under Oath songs with Lauren Babick. We did back and forth vocals. And by the way, Lauren and I, like I said, we came up on YouTube together. That's like my longest friendship. I
want to get her on the show. I need some female energy on the
dude,
show.
I mean, I'll hit her up. I'll hit her up. She's the dopest. I think she's going to be... We're going to the In This Moment show on Tuesday. Our friend Nate is doing sound for Kat Von D. So we're going to go check that show out. And The Pretty Wild is the opener, and I love them. They're cool.
Cool.
So I'll hit her up about that. She should come on the show, especially since she lives here now. And she just announced a tour for December. So she's doing like a solo.
Let's get her on.
Solo tour. But yeah, we did 2 Under Oath songs, and literally day of, or maybe the day before, Emo Night called us. Nashville is the reason who puts the show on.
Yeah.
They were like, hey, Frank Zumo is performing Fat Lip, and we don't have any vocalists for it. Can you guys also do Fat Lip? And I was like, do you know how many words are in that song? I was like, I don't know if I can do that. Like, we could try. So we go early, we do sound check, we rehearse all of our songs because it's live band and vocals. Yeah. And I Lauren was like, I'll do the choruses. I was like, sick. Like I'm gonna mess this up. So we do our rehearsal, and I pretty much completely butcher Frank Zumo's band's song in front of Frank Zumo. And I was like, I'll just listen to it a bunch. So we're backstage about to go do it, and Greg from Boys Like Girls is there. And he's like, what song are you doing? I was like, Fat Lip. But I don't know all the words. He was like, that's my karaoke song. I was like, oh my God, please help. Please come on stage with us. So it ended up being me, Lauren, Greg from Boys Like Girls, and Frank Zumo. And it was sick. It was awesome.
That's my karaoke song.
That's my I was like, what? Out of every song, that's your freaking karaoke
That's
song.
funny.
And Greg's awesome. I got to tour with Red Jumpsuit in Australia. We went back to Australia. And I need to actually go back and talk about that. But
yeah, I want to hear about how you got
that shit was crazy
with Red Jumpsuit.
Yeah. But yeah, we played Emo Night, and then like maybe like 2, and I got sick again because everyone shares a mic at Emo Night. I was like, great. And then like a week and a half later, we played Chasing Satellites open for Red Jumpsuit at Eastside Bowl, and that was the biggest show that I've ever played with like my own band. So that was dope. But it was opening for Red Jumpsuit. Yeah, so sick. And literally, I saw they were coming to town, so I just texted them. I was like, hey, what's good with this? And they were like, oh yeah, obviously you guys should play. So yeah, Red Jumpsuit, the whole thing with that. Back in 2013, I believe, they came to Perth on tour in Australia, and I went with my dad to go see them. They were playing at a venue called Amplifier. The name's now been changed to Magnet House, just so people have context. So in 2013, they came. I went to the show, and I was going to buy like a t-shirt at the merch table, and their merch guy, Justin, had an old YouTube flip camera, which was like big back in the daily vlog era. Basically, it's like a little white pocket-sized camera with a USB stick that pops out, so you can plug the camera straight into a computer. Pretty cool.
Wait, YouTube made those cameras?
I don't know if YouTube made them, but that was what all the vloggers were using. Oh, because they were like this size, but had a USB stick in them. Like, cool. Maybe even smaller, like the size of a deck of cards, basically. And I was like, oh my gosh, you have a flip camera. Do you make YouTube videos? And he was like, oh, I shoot some stuff for the band. And then at this time, I had been like daily vlogging for like 3 years straight because I was living overseas. I thought it was kind of interesting. So I was doing YouTube videos. And for some reason, after the show, he was like, do you want to go meet the band? I was like, yeah, I love Red Jumpsuit. So he brought me backstage and I met the guys for the first time. And it was just like a quick, like, hey, what's up? Love you guys. You're dope. Whatever. See you around. Justin and I stayed in touch. And for like the next year, we FaceTimed like every day. Just like hanging out online, whatever. He was touring with the band and I was finishing school and planning to move back home. And I was like, hey, when I get back to America, we should go to Warped Tour. We should like, hang out and go to Warped Tour. So when I came back to the US in 2014, I emailed Kevin Lyman, who's the founder of Warped Tour, because back then you could just find people's emails online very easily.
That's awesome.
I emailed him. I was like, hey, I'm a music photographer. I would love to photograph Warped Tour. And he hit me back and was like, sure, which date? I was like, how many can I do? He's like, just tell me what cities and I'll put you I'll get you photo pass and everything. So I think I did like 12 days of Warped Tour.
Drove by yourself?
So I flew to Texas, traveled around to all the Texas dates with my friend Baker, who I had met online. He's a singer. He did YouTube shit. So we drove around Texas, and then I flew to Florida, met up with Justin. He lived in Jacksonville, where Red Jumpsuit's from, and we did all the Florida dates. And then I did California because I was living out there. So I did California. And then that August, I got hired to do a tour with a band from Toledo, Ohio. That ended up breaking up after the first tour they ever did.
Oh.
So that tells you how that went. Lovely people, but oh my God, just a disaster. But I think they played like the Ohio date of Warped Tour. So I ended up doing like 12 shows that summer. And then for the summers after that, and for like tour cycles after that, Justin and I would find ways to meet up with each other just to hang out. I'm talking like, I would be like, hey, we're going this way, you're going this way. There's a gas station like halfway between. We could just meet at the gas station and just like hang out real quick. So we were literally like route the tour to gas stations
to
like high five each other. Yeah. So spent a lot of time in Jacksonville during the summers, just hanging out with him. And of course, vicariously hang out with the Jumpsuit guys. And they had like they used to like practice in the back, like a barn behind one of their family houses. It was like the Jumpsuit house, basically. So they would just like rehearse and stuff. So kept running into them on tours, just, day off, they would play or whatever. And in 2021, Justin's like life dream was to get to Hawaii. He just wanted to live in Hawaii. So he finally decided, he's like, I'm going to quit touring. I'm going to move to Hawaii. And he got like a graphic design job that was remote that would allow him to move there. So he moved to Hawaii and I moved to Nashville. And in 2022, Ronnie called me and he was like, hey, do you want to do photo video for the band? Basically take Justin's job. And I was like, yes. Yes, I do. So November 2022, I did my first tour with Red Jumpsuit doing photo video. And I would like hop on stage and scream the bridge for Face Down, or like the breakdown section for Face Down, just for fun, whenever. Just kind of became like a thing I did. Mm-hmm. And then in 2023, they went back to Australia, played the same venue that I met them at, now under a different name. But Randy, who is Ronnie's brother and plays guitar and does harmonies and screams, he's not, I don't know if he considers himself a screamer, but he took the role on because they needed that for the songs, right? So, but his main thing is guitar and harmonies. And he couldn't go to Australia because one reason or another, I think it was like COVID. I don't think he got vaccinated, so he was like, I don't want to deal with Australia. But whatever the reason was, he ended up not going. And so Ronnie was like, can you do photo, video, and screams on the whole tour in Australia? And I was like, gonna be tough. But yes, let's do it. So it was Red Jumpsuit and Boys Like Girls. Co-headliner, Australia. Sick.
Wow.
So much fun. I ended up meeting up with my old guitar player from my Australian band in Perth, and we just like hung out. I got to go hang out with him and his dad. Hadn't seen them for years, obviously. Mm-hmm. So we caught up, it was sick. And the the day before the first show in Perth, so we started the tour in Perth. So we flew all the way across and we were making our way back. The day before, we got there to like acclimate and whatever. My friend who he was the head of security for Warped Tour back in the day. So I met him in 2017 when I worked with Alt Press. and I did a whole like documentary piece about the security crew and like what's it like to keep Warped Tour safe, because I thought that was fascinating.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you do this? So when Warped Tour ended, all those guys went on to do other stuff. So this guy ended up becoming the head of security for Billie Eilish.
Wow.
And Billie was on her world tour, and she was playing in Perth the night that we got there. So we had a day off and then our show. So I shot him a text. I was like, hey, can you accommodate, like, the Red Jumpsuit guys want to come to the show? And he was like, oh, I love them. They've always been so kind to me. Like, whenever they played Warped Tour, they were always so cool to me. He was like, how many? I was like, there's 7 of us. He was like, yeah, just show up at the arena and text me when you're here. They brought us through the back of the arena, like through the green room area and onto the floor. And he was like, enjoy the show. I was like, this is
sick,
crazy.
Man.
It was Billie's last show of her world tour, and we happened to be in the same city.
Oh.
It was nuts. One of the greatest live shows I've ever seen.
Dang.
And it was just her and her brother Phineas and a drummer. Like, that was it. And now she's got like a whole band that she travels with.
Yeah.
Which is dope. But insane show. Just an insane show. And I texted him before she played Bad Guy, and I was like, hey, should I crowd surf during Bad Guy? He goes, it's never been done. I was like, I'm going to do it. So I attempted to crowd surf during Bad Guy, and not the crowd. Not the crowd.
What's happening?
They were like, what are you doing? Stop it. Someone ripped my beanie off my head and threw it on the floor. I was like, all right, this ain't the crowd, man. I was like, Billie would be so stoked to see a crowd surfer.
You would be such an easy crowd surf, too.
I know.
You don't weigh a lot.
I do be crowd surfing.
Yeah.
My whole life, I crowd surf. I stand on people's shoulders, like I love it.
Yeah.
So fun. But yeah, so we did that Australia tour, screamed for the band, and did content. So I would literally like take photos, put my camera down, run to the mic, scream, get off stage, do more photos, the whole tour. And it was like, I don't know, 6 shows, but it was so fun. It was so much fun. And then, we come back, and in 2014, they were working on a new deal with a label. Mind you, they've been independent since they got off of Victory Records back in, I don't know, 2009, 2010, when Victory kind of screwed over all those bands, 30 Seconds to Mars, all of them. And so they'd been independent the whole time, but for whatever reason, the guys were, working on this new label deal, and they were like, we're in this transition period. We're not really like touring too much. We're just doing small things, nothing like super crazy. So I didn't do anything for them content-wise in 2024. Other than like, I went and did like behind the scenes for music videos. At one point they did a symphonic version of Face Down. So it's like stripped symphony, super cool. Ronnie calls me. He's like, hey, can you come film behind the scenes for the music video? It's like, of course, you're doing a symphonic version of the iconic song Face Down. He's like, we got the same actress from the original video. So the story of the video will be where she is 16 years later. And I was like, that's cool. So like the original Face Down, she's in a domestic violence situation and she's getting out of it. That's what the whole song's about, right? You don't ever see the person that's like abusing her in that video, but you get what's going on just based off of the scenario in the video. And so this is her like how she got through that 16 years later, where she is. So in the storyline of the video, she's like a film director. She's working on a film, whatever, but she's like triggered by the PTSD from her past. So Ronnie's like, yeah, we want you to film behind the scenes. And his wife, Angela, was directing and conceptualized the music video. And he goes, do you also want to play her partner in the video? I was like, you want me to what? You want me to be in Face Down? Yes. So fly out to California, do behind the scenes, act in the video. So fun. So cool. I interviewed everyone. We did a whole like behind the scenes video. I interviewed everyone, and I was like, I asked the actress, I was like, what's it like to, do this again 16 years later? She was like, that was the only the only acting I'd ever done was the original Face Down. And then since then, she's never done any acting until Face Down. So she's her only acting credits are like Face Down twice. So cool. Easter egg in that video, Ronnie is wearing the exact same pair of Converse from the original. He kept the shoes.
Gosh.
He kept the shoes. And he almost forgot to change his shoes before they shot the band scenes. I was like, bro,
those shoes have been waiting to be worn for 10 years.
I was like, bro, you're wearing the wrong shoes. He was like, oh my God. I was like, go put the shoes on. This is why we're here. So that was really cool. And for me, that was very like, it's special, right?
Yeah.
And, you know, so for 2024, I didn't do anything with them other than like a couple things here and there. And then they hit me up and they were like, hey, do you want to come do Warped Tour DC? Like just photo video. I was like, sure.
And what year was this?
This was this year. So this was the DC date.
Okay.
So this was a month ago or whatever. Yeah, June. So now that they're on a label, everything has to be done through the label.
Yeah.
I used to just be able to call Ronnie and be like, hey, do you mind if I come out and do this? Yeah, no problem. He's like, okay, now you got to submit to the label. I was like, all right. So email the label, and their manager, Steve, was supposed to go to that show as their manager. Steve gave up his ticket so that I could go photograph the band at Warped Tour. Because it's the first one in 5 years. Like, it's a big deal that Warped Tour's back. And I was like, yo, we are so back. I was like, yo, we got to document. Like, this is special, right? And so Steve literally emailed the label and was like, hey guys, Kay's going to take my ticket and they need a photo video pass. And the label was like, all right, no problem. You have to submit. You have to like fill out this form for Warped Tour. So Warped Tour is now run by Insomniac and Live Nation, and Insomniac does like EDM festivals. Mm-hmm. So kind of a different operating style. For the first time in my 12 years of photo video, I had to submit a certificate of insurance to photograph a show. Never had to do that before. I have one because I'm a freelancer, so like I have one for my business. So thank God, because if I didn't, I would have like been scrambling to like get this done in time.
Some paperwork in.
Yeah. So not only that, but you had to submit for every band you wanted to photograph individually. So, and I didn't know this ahead of time, so I'm like shooting texts to Matty Mullins and Jason from Fever and Let Live and Bo from Bless the Fall. I'm like, hey, I need your manager's information because I need to get this sorted like today.
You had to clear it with every band?
Every band's management. And thank God these bands are so supportive of me, and they have been for so long. Like, and I know like all the vocalists because like I always ask them for like tips like on tour, and so like, how do you guys do this for 90 minutes like for months on end, like, you know?
Yeah.
So they've always been very kind and like supportive and giving of information to help me along the way. So thankfully I got that all sorted. But when I got to Warped Tour, it just ended up being Warped Tour. Like, I had an artist pass and a guest pass, so I didn't need 8 stickies, like photo stickies. And I was like, I'm gonna look like the dude from Aladdin with the sundials. Like, you want to buy a photo pass? I had like 8 photo passes. So funny.
Your entire t-shirt.
My whole shirt is fucking stickies.
Media passes.
So funny. But yeah, it was sick. So I go on stage to start doing behind the scenes before their set. And their drummer, Espy, is the first one on stage. Drummer. He's setting up his drums, right? He comes up to me. He's like, hey, do you want to scream? And I was like, this is a big deal, dude. Warped Tour has been gone for 5 years. Like, I'm just here to do photo video. But I was like, for some reason in my brain, I was like, sure, which song? Knowing that I usually only do the breakdown and face down. But for some reason that day, my brain goes, sure, what song? And he said, no, the whole set. And I was like...
He asked you that day?
That very, like 20 minutes before their set.
But they know you know all the songs.
Of course.
Right? Yeah.
Of course they do.
Yeah.
But I also hadn't done this in like, a while.
Yeah.
So I was like, sure, what song? He goes, no, the whole set. And I was like, okay, yeah, but you have to ask everyone twice. I was like, you have to make sure everyone's okay with this, because I understand the gravity of the fact that Warped Tour is back. And this is a big moment for you guys, for Warped Tour, for everybody here, for the crowd. Like, I understand the importance of this moment, and I don't want to take that away from you.
Yeah, just double check with everybody. Yeah, on my behalf.
Of course.
If you wouldn't mind.
Of course.
Yeah.
And of course, everyone was like, yeah, do the thing. Of course. Randy plays guitar, screams, does harmonies. He was like, yeah, do your thing. I'm still going to scream. I'm still going to do my thing. I was like, of course, and you should. So, ended up doing that set, not knowing that it was going to be live streamed.
Oh my gosh.
On Amazon Music.
Dang, dude.
And I was like, all right. Mind you, I have no in-ears. So I'm just like
you're going off of
going off of the drums and a wedge.
Oh shoot!
But I know the songs.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. It was so fun.
Sick.
It was so fun. Went over really well. Again, I was jumping on and off stage to do photos during like Cat and Mouse and, you know, Guardian Angel and like the songs that didn't have screams.
Yeah.
And they do a Blink cover, which was cool. So I also did photos during that song because I still had to do my job.
Yeah.
Like I was there to do a job. I'm not going to like forget that. Like that's important too. So we do that. And I ended up, you know, posting some of the clips online of like me performing with them, whatever. Ronnie hits me up. Now it's like a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, kind of out of the blue. And he's like, hey, we should jump on an Instagram live together. I was like, weird. We've never done that. All right. What do you want to talk about? He's like, oh, you know, we can, you know, talk about politics or music and politics or like whatever. Cause he had just said some stuff basically calling out Trump supporters and saying like, hey, he said like, and I put it in my video because I didn't have an ear, so I couldn't hear what he was saying between songs. Basically, it was like, there are racists everywhere. And if you don't believe that, basically go F yourself. Like,
okay.
If you can't see that there's a problem here, like you're blind, like you're not looking. And so it obviously caused a stir. But like, if you're mad at him for saying that there's racism, like there's something like you need to look inside yourself. Like it's true, right? It's not wrong. But of course, like everyone was like, this band sucks anyway. And I'm like, okay, but they've been around for 20 years and most bands can't make it past 5.
Right.
So they're doing something right. They're living off of this. So, and they're still touring. So like clearly they're successful.
Right.
No matter how you look at it, you can hate them for whatever.
Totally. Yeah.
But they've also been very outspoken about like political things their whole career. Mm-hmm. They have a whole album called I Am the Enemy. And it's very like politically charged, you know, like this isn't just like a trend for them. They've spoken out about domestic violence, mental health, suicide awareness. They've been working with To Write Love on Her Arms forever. Mm-hmm. Like this is a part of who they are. Guardian Angel is like, Ronnie's talked about this in interviews before. He wrote the song about some kids that survived a tornado that hit their school in Alabama. And this boy ended up like protecting a girl and he ended up dying. And that's kind of what inspired Guardian Angel. So they've been doing like activism stuff. They do like charitable things. They play for the military, but they don't like post about that. It's just something they do.
Yeah.
Like they go play military bases and nobody really, I mean, people know about it, but it's not something that they advertise or like promote because it's just something they do out of the kindness of their hearts. And they have had family in the military. And so they care about that. Mm-hmm. And like those men and women and trans people, even though they're not really in the military right now, but like the fact that people go perform for them means so much to them because I mean, they deal with shit all day, every day.
Yeah.
It's hard. They see horrible things. And the fact that they can have a concert on their base every now and then.
Oh, it's probably
like,
sick.
Exactly. Yeah. And like, or like comedians go perform for the military. Like it's an escape for them. So it's really special to me that they do that. So yeah, Ronnie's like, hey, do you want to get on Instagram Live? I'm like, weird, but sure. So we get on this Instagram Live and then his brother Randy gets on through the Red Jumpsuit account and Ronnie's like, hey, so I have a question. I was like, alrighty. He's like, are you ready for this? And Randy's like, is this like a live reaction? And I was like, what's going on? And Ronnie goes, I want you to take over screams and become a permanent member of the band so Randy can focus on harmonies. He's like, but you have to say yes or no right now.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like,
what was going through your head when that happened?
I was like, is he serious? But also I'm like, I've been like manifesting this for 2 years since we went to Australia. I was like, why don't I just like scream for the band?
Yeah.
And
so
I
you were kind of thinking about it already, imagining yourself in that role.
And you know what's funny is SB, their drummer that told me to scream at Warped Tour, he's like, yeah, I've been kind of like hinting at this for like a while now. Like within the band dynamic.
Thanks, bro.
And so I was like, oh my God, I kind of had to do like a double take, but with my ears. I was like, are you serious? He's like, yeah, but you have to say yes or no right now. And I was like, well, obviously, yes, there is no other option. Like yes, of course. Like, of course.
What do you think, man?
Like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
And so, I was like, okay. And then I went to sleep and I woke up and I was suddenly on a record label and suddenly I'm in this band and we're trying to figure out how to Photoshop me into the tour flyers because we leave for tour in 2 weeks. Like, just the whole onboarding process has been like wild.
Yeah.
Like, and not only that, like I went to see Rivals the other night. They're on tour right now, but they live in Nashville.
Mm-hmm.
Their drummer Josh lived with me for like 2 years when he moved from California. So they were in town and I went to the show and like it was crazy because people were coming up to me congratulating me and it still hasn't really like hit me what's happening, but like Johnny Hawkins from Nothing More was there hanging out, and even he was like, this is so cool. And I was like, you're Johnny Hawkins, sir. Like, well,
Kay, I mean, your background and everything that you've done in your life would lead to something like this. It just makes sense to me. Your skill set's perfect for that band.
Yeah, and it's something that like, I'm sure people that don't listen to this whole episode that just see me online and see that this is happening. I'm sure a lot of people will be like, overnight success, industry plant, blah blah blah. I'm like, okay, well, every overnight success is 10 years in the making. And if I'm an industry plant, they forgot to fucking water me. Like, they forgot to water me back in the day.
I went to all those shows just because you love the music.
Exactly.
You were around and like...
Yeah. If you do something long enough and if you're in people's faces long enough, like, you're going to get somewhere.
Yeah. And
period.
Do you feel like your YouTube channel was pretty instrumental in this whole thing? Like happening?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's a grind, man.
For sure. And it's like, I think the most amount of money I've made from YouTube is over 15 years is maybe like $1,000.
Yeah.
Just because of copyright.
Yeah.
Like I can't monetize most of the stuff.
A lot of your stuff is like reaction,
especially
stuff.
now. Like, and my friend, like maybe 2 years ago, was like, you should do reaction videos, because I was like, it's hard for me to be consistent with like covers and that kind of thing, because like I would like to pay my friends to make the instrumentals, and to produce them so that they're done properly, but like it's hard to be consistent with that because that stuff takes so much time and energy and effort, which like I love doing it, but it just is. And I was like, I need something to fill the gaps between. And my friend was like, you should just do reaction videos. And I was like, but I don't watch reaction videos, so I don't know if anybody's interested in that. He's like, there's a whole community that just loves it. I was like, I mean, I do love music and like it could be fun. So I started doing those and like my channel blew up. And mind you, it was like plateaued for years. Like I was stuck at like 50K for like 10 years. Yeah. So I'm
right around 10K and I've been there for a while, but
it's a grind. Even Mr. Beast has been doing it forever.
Yeah. Exactly.
Forever. And also like, what a guy. What a dude.
Oh, yeah.
I was on his game show.
Oh, yeah. Dude, can we talk about that?
Sure, yeah.
So he has this game show. It's almost like, what's that Korean show?
Squid Game.
It's almost like Squid Game.
Without the dying.
Except
actually, people definitely thought we died when we fell through our trapdoors. The comments
the trapdoor thing. I watched that with my wife, and I was like, hey, I know Kay is on the show. I want to see where they're at on the show. And
gone.
320. You got nuked early, man.
But what's crazy about that whole thing, so like when we did the first, like, I guess pilot, whatever, we did a YouTube video to get people to go over to Amazon. So the first like Beast Games thing was, I think the video is called like, I made 2,000 people compete for $5 million. This is like the video title.
Yeah.
So I submitted for the show while I was out filming at SpaceX. So I filmed rocket launches for a spaceflight media company. We've been filming Starship down in South Texas since January 2024. It's like a year and a half we've been filming rocket launches. It was June, I believe. Like the launch was like 2 days after my birthday. My birthday is June 5th. I think the launch was like June 7th. But I had to like submit my video for Beast Games within like a very small window, and I happened to be out there, and the like requirements were like quiet environment, white plain background, and I was like, yeah, I don't have any of that. So I just whipped my phone out, selfie mode, and I'm like, hey Jimmy, I know that you said you wanted like a quiet background, but I'm filming a rocket, and I pan over and there's a Starship rocket behind me. Like, but I'm filming a rocket launch and I have to get this to you. If I win, I'd use the money to, I don't know, like buy stuff. Like, I didn't know what to say. I was like, I'm a filmmaker and whatever. So I submitted the video. They liked it. Had to submit another video. And the second video was like more of like who you are and like what do you do, blah, blah, blah. But that one, I happened to be in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, filming on an Amish farm. And I was like, well, I got to get this video submitted. So I was like, hey, I'm out here at the Susquehanna River, just,
out in the middle of nowhere,
filming a music video. I was like, see you on set, whatever. They're like, hey, you're approved. We're going to fly you to Vegas. We'll let you know when your flight is like a day before the flight. I was like, what? Just no, because they wanted to keep everything so under wraps.
Oh my gosh.
So I had to sign an NDA and like do the whole thing, do a background check because they got to know who's 2,000 people. They got to know who's going to be there.
Right.
So they fly us to Vegas, pay for our flights, pay for our Ubers. Like Beast Burger, his burger company, like gave us Uber credit. So like Beast Burger paid for our Ubers to and from the airports.
Oh,
It was pretty cool. Paid for 2,000 people to fly, 2,000 hotel rooms. So just like imagine how much that is.
Oh, dude.
And then
costs are crazy.
We ended up filming in Raiders Stadium. So he rented out Raiders Stadium. And so we lived on the floor of Raiders Stadium in sleeping bags for like 4 days.
No way, dude.
No
What?
pillows, just a sleeping bag and like a toiletry bag with like a eye mask. No pillows. So like I used my shoes as a pillow. Like it was, but here's the thing. Like you're
Squid
competing.
Games, dude.
You're competing for $5 million. Like if you think it's going to be easy, get out of here. The door's open at any time. You like people literally left because they were like, I need to call my boyfriend, or like I'm bored. The food sucks. Like, okay, bye. Like, so, like I'll stay here. You go. Like, and I've been on film sets before, so I understand that it takes hours to reset a scene or change the lighting or move stuff or feed people, like hours. And mind you, Raider Stadium is a dome with glass on the roof. So during the day, the set looked like shit. So they were like, oh, well, okay, we're going to film at night. So you're going to sleep
during the day.
10 a.m. So our entire schedule got inverted on a dime. Whole schedule got inverted. And so we filmed from like sundown to sunup and then went to sleep and then repeat. So by the time we got out, we cut from 2,000 people to 1,000 people in 4 days doing physical challenges, like physically demanding stuff. We played a game, and mind you, I think there were like 4.
How did you do at that? Were you pretty...
I didn't know. So we didn't know what we were doing. So most of the time we were awake before we filmed, we were trying to figure out what the next game was.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of conspiracy theories, and we were like, well, Mr. Beast does this a lot in his YouTube videos. Everything we thought was going to happen was wrong.
Yeah.
Because this stuff has never been done before.
Yeah.
Biggest sets, biggest games.
The ball game where the ball is dropping down.
Yeah. Even like, so the first thing we had to do was lift a 10,000 pound boulder with a team of 400 people. So we all like got a colored like jersey shirt, and we had to like 400 of us had to pull our boulder, and it was like the last one up, the whole team's eliminated. And I was like, oh my God, like this is over. Like this is way hard because it's not you against these people, it's a team.
Yeah.
Because it's so many people you got to cut down.
Yeah.
So, by the end of the 4 days, I think he won like 400 or 40 or like, there was like an insane amount of Guinness World Records that he got. Biggest game of capture the flag. Most amount of people opening briefcases at this, like just dumb records. Most amount of
Mr. Beast.
Most amount of cardboard cutouts in a stadium. Like they filled all the seats with like Slender Man looking, like literally like Slender Man's tuxedo with like a gray face. I was like, why are there like thousands of Slender Men in the stadium?
Oh my God.
So yeah, we slept on the floor. People would self-eliminate, and here's the thing, like, people were like, it was cruel, like he didn't pay us enough to be there. First of all, if you're in any game show, you don't get paid unless you win the game show, period. Yeah. You don't get a union rate, an hourly, nothing. Right. You're there on your own accord.
Yeah, well, I would imagine you had to sign something.
You had to sign something
all that out for you.
And most people don't read the terms and conditions of their computer or their iPhone update. Right. So they just signed shit. But he paid everyone $1,000 to be on set. And when you were eliminated, you get another $1,000. So straight out the gate.
That's pretty
2,000 people times $2,000, the most generous. So we made it through the whole time. Like I ended up becoming like a team captain, which I didn't ask for. It just like came upon me, and I was like, we got to do this as a team. because like if we don't, we're all out. And the whole time people were like, I kind of want to go home or like whatever. I was like, dude, okay, you may want to go home, but like if you can just make it through these next few challenges, like we want to make it to the Amazon show because this is just YouTube.
Yeah.
We want the Amazon credit. So the whole time we were just like, we got to make it to Amazon and then you can go home. You can literally walk on set in the next, phase and then just walk off if you want to go home.
Yeah.
We got to make it to Amazon.
So you were talking about getting your Mr. Beast game show team on Amazon just a second ago. And so did you make it to the first Amazon episode?
Yes. So made it to the first Amazon episode. So we went from Vegas, went home for like, I don't know, like a month maybe. And then...
That's the one with the giant baby doll that's head spins around, right?
That's Squid Game.
But didn't he do that?
He did his own version of Squid Game. This was totally separate.
Oh, okay.
Totally separate. Okay. But he did do a whole Squid Game
I'm
thing.
thinking of a different
Which
Mr.
is
Beast
crazy.
video. Yeah, okay,
which was also insane.
Yeah.
But so we go to Toronto and we ended up filming in an old abandoned airport. There's like an airplane hangar that people rent out for movies, but he needed somewhere that was big enough to fit 1,000 people and the boxes we stood on, like the set. And it was a lot of sitting around waiting to film.
Right.
Just because there's 1,000 people you have to transport around Toronto from hotels to the set and back. And, it was a lot of like logistics. But I understood that because, again, film sets, I've been on them. I understand. But because we were sitting around, people would come check on us, ask us if we need to go to the bathroom or water or whatever. Mm-hmm. So one of the camera operators was kind of walking around. I was like, hey, like I noticed there's a lot of female camera operators on the set. Like that's pretty cool and not normal, frankly. And she was like, well, in Canada, in order to get like grant money and funding, you have to have like a diverse group of people.
Yeah.
They're all qualified, obviously. Like DEI is so funny to me because I'm like, okay, well, they're still qualified to do. You're not just hiring Joe Schmo off the street because they're black. Like they're still qualified to do the job.
Yep.
They just are also whatever, a minority or whatever. And so that's why they had so many female operators. And I was like, why are we in Canada? Like we could have done this. There's so many airplane hangars in America. And she was like, well, they're all occupied by the military right now. So there's none available of this size. I was like, interesting. Little conspiracy fun fact for you. Can think about why. But that's why we went to Toronto. And so the first game was a limit. It was a bribe. So it was like $1 million. If you self-eliminate, you get $1 million. If 2 people self-eliminate, you split it. So however many people there are.
I remember
at the end, that's how it splits among whatever.
The pot gets smaller and smaller.
Right. So I think that was a 10-minute game, the first one. And I was like, people around me were like, I'm going to hit it at 1 second left. I was like, okay, but so is 30 other people because they're thinking the same thing you are. So I think like 54 people ended up self-eliminating that first game.
Yeah. That was one that I watched.
I probably should have self-eliminated the first game because the next game was the trapdoor game.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And it was eliminate yourself and what was it? It was eliminate yourself to save your row. And we had all gotten our beast numbers from the capture the flag game.
Yeah.
So it was like 1 through 1100, right? And so like, if you think about that mentally, the first like 100 people that are going to go are like the athletes and the really strong-willed go-getters and people that are like, I don't know, 700 to 1100 are like apprehensive and timid, just psychologically speaking, right? My number was 320. I wanted 666, but by the time I got to 300, I was so anxious.
The most metal number
I know.
of all.
I was so anxious that I was like, I have to go now because I'm freaking out. So I ended up getting 320. So they lined us up in our rows in the hangar, 1 through 1,000. So obviously, the first 500 of us want to be there the most, just psychologically speaking. So if you watch that trapdoor elimination game and how the rows, like who self-eliminated first, it was the last 3 rows left are all eliminated. The first row to go was in row 1,000 or 900, whatever. And then it cascaded towards the lower numbers because psychologically speaking, obviously they're more willing to like save their or whatever. They don't want to be there as bad. Yeah. People will argue that, but that's just psychological. So the last 3 rows remaining were the first row, the third row, my row, and the row next to it is the fourth row. So my row was the first to drop through our trapdoors.
Dude, that looks scary. Do you just end up in like a foam pit?
So yes, below? Basically.
And there's all these other people around too that got dropped moments ago.
So we were the first ones to drop, and so our shot is the FPV drone shot that goes straight down our row.
Mm-hmm.
And it was crazy. I didn't think it was going to be that fast, so we felt like dominoes basically. So it started at the front and went back. I thought it was going to be a bit slower. I didn't even see 10 people in front of me drop because I was already falling.
Oh, that's just scary.
And mind you, you have to fall like far enough so that you're no longer seen, right?
Yeah.
So it's like probably like an 8 to 10 foot fall.
Yeah.
Into a black foam box with foam blocks in the box, and then under the foam blocks are 2 crash mats. So like you should be fine in theory.
Yeah.
Mind you, we did sign a waiver that said like you may face mental whatever child like deteriorate or whatever. I don't remember the wording. You may get hurt. You may die because they have to cover their asses, right?
Yeah.
You sign your waiver away. Same when you go skydiving. You may die, but you're like, I don't hold you liable. But Beast Games said after the fact, a couple people got hurt just because like there's 1,000 people. You can test this thing 1,000,000 times, but like something could happen.
Yeah.
I ended up having to get an x-ray on my ankle. Everything was fine, but I thought that I messed something up. They paid for everybody. If you got injured, if you had to get x-ray, if you had to get whatever happened, they paid for your medical bills.
Oh, good.
Which they didn't have to do because we signed a waiver saying they didn't have to do that.
Well, that's good, man.
But that's just Jimmy is like really like a he's not just trying to like hurt people. Like he's really a good person.
Yeah.
He does a lot of charitable stuff, whatever. The only reason I'm really talking about Mr. Beast right now because it ties into my story as a whole. After the show, I got connected with the CEO of his company who was on set with us, and I reached out to the drone pilot because I was like, I need to know what that was like from his perspective. So I ended up having him on my podcast. I have 2 podcasts, but one's about freelancing. So I interview other freelancers about how they built their business.
What's that podcast called?
It's called Project Freelance.
Okay.
So I think it's fascinating how people built their own careers, and like I also get to learn from other people. Selfishly, I'm like, I just want to learn how to do my job better and run my business better. So I had him on, and then I started filming these rocket launches for this company, and Starship Flight, 7 exploded over the Bahamas. Starship Flight 8 exploded over the Bahamas. So for Flight 9, someone on our team was like, why don't we just go to the Bahamas and film it from there? Because like it's probably going to explode again. They probably haven't fixed this problem. And I was like, hold up.
And there's no one in these rockets, right?
No. These are test flights. Yeah. This is the ship that will eventually send humans to Mars. So they're testing the breaking point.
And how often do they do this? Every couple months?
Every few months.
Yeah.
Because they're so big. Like these aren't like, so the ones that fly the satellites, they just did their 500th flight. They're flying those 3 times a week.
And is this a rocket that can land itself after it takes off?
No, not yet. But they have caught the booster, so it's ship booster. So booster basically gets it to orbit and then it splits off and goes.
Yeah.
The booster comes back. They've caught it twice.
Yeah.
Back at the launch pad, which by the way, if you've never seen it, it's like watching magic in real life.
It's incredible.
It's a feat of engineering.
So which spacecraft does that? Is it Elon?
That's the Falcon
SpaceX?
9. That's the Falcon 9. So
it's not the Blue Origin thing?
They haven't figured that out yet. But SpaceX, the one that's flied 500 times, that's the Falcon 9. That launches the satellites, and it comes back and lands on the drone ships that are out in the ocean or back at the pad at Kennedy. Also, the barge names are amazing. There's one that's called Of Course I Still Love You. Like, they all have this, like, wild, like, basically Johnny Craig if he named a drone ship. Like, you know how his songs are always so, like, Emarosa songs are, like, long as shit.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I wanted to be Australian, but, like, what does this song title have to do with anything? But the reason I'm bringing this up is because when my teammate was like, we should just go to the Bahamas, I was like, Wait, Mr. Beast gave away 2 islands in the Bahamas, and I'm pretty sure both people gave them back to him, so he might still own those islands, and I know the CEO of the company. I'm just going to DM him. So I messaged the CEO. I was like, hey, can we camp on one of Mr. Beast's islands in the Bahamas? He said, his reply literally said, hold on, let me ask. And I said, the fact that this is a conversation is...
How do you even get there, Kay?
Insane.
You're going to get a plane?
You just got to ask people, and then you'll figure out the rest.
Well, I think that's the moral of the story. It's like, well, you know, Drew, how are you doing this podcast? How are you getting these guests? Well, I straight up ask people.
Just ask them.
Like, and I don't care if you tell me no, that's
then
fine.
You'll move on.
I'm not going to cry about it.
But dude.
What you're doing and the things that have transpired in your life is just you asking
just
the question.
Willing to ask
and
the question.
being willing to do the thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
wow. He hits me back. He's like, so Jimmy doesn't own the islands anymore. They've been sold and sold and sold and sold. So we don't know who owns them. I was like, okay, there's got to be another way to figure this out. So I'm like, we probably need a film permit in the Bahamas. So I go on this website, like bahamasfilmpermit.com, whatever. Scrolling through, there's a company there called Galaxy Productions. I was like, oh, how fitting. Cute. Space. Here we are. The guy's name and number and email are there. And then his credits. So it's like Pirates of the Caribbean, Lost, like whatever. The last one is Mr. Beast. I was like, okay. They had to get items to this island to film on the island for these YouTube videos. This guy probably helped with the production. Give him a call. Hey, what's up? This is Cornelius. I was like, first of all, your name's amazing. I was like, we want to camp on this island. It was owned by Mr. Beast. We don't know who owns it now. He's like, let me figure it out. He's like, the lady that owns the specific island we wanted, she has been trying to sell it for 3 years, hasn't had a buyer, just got a serious buyer. She doesn't want anyone on the island. But there's an island that is swimming distance from it that my best friend's grandfather owns. Do you want that one? Yeah, we'll take it. So I ended up running logistics for the entire operation. So we ended up flying to Nassau, the main island in the Bahamas, rented a charter plane, 9-seater, a Piper Aztec, flew to a smaller island called Duncantown, took a boat to the insane, final island with all of our supplies, water, MREs, just in case, a satellite phone, Starlink, our camera gear. They drop us off on this island and they're like, all right, we'll see you in 4 days. Good luck.
Oh my gosh.
No infrastructure, no structures, no bathrooms, nothing there. Just the things we brought. Tents, water, fishing poles. That's it. Fire, like a lighter, knives, whatever.
Stuff to start fires.
And our camera gear. So it wasn't just like go film this rocket fly over your heads and maybe explode, because no one's ever filmed Starship from there anyway. So we were like, even if it doesn't explode, we'll have the coolest footage, and just the story of we filmed on Mr. Beast Island, like just the whole thing will help us.
It's awesome.
Exactly.
It's grade A content.
I think the video comes out tomorrow.
Hell yeah. On your channel?
On Interstellar Gateway's channel. That's the company name.
Oh,
Interstellar Gateway
sick.
is the spaceflight media company.
Now, are they launching the rocket from Florida?
They're launching the Starship ones launched from South Texas in Brownsville. The city just got named Starbase. So that's literally the town name.
Wow. Okay.
It's crazy. It's the first town that has been named in 30 years. Yeah. Like a new town.
Now I know why all the Chasing Satellites songs are space themed.
I'm a nerd, bro. I am a nerd. So, yeah, we basically all this to tie into making connections along your way can help you at later stages and things.
Yeah.
So, yeah, now I film rocket launches and perform music and do other stuff. It's very fun. But, yeah, that's wild. Life is wild, and just go do stuff. You can just do stuff, turns out.
That's amazing. You're an inspiration to me, and I think the first time I saw you was at a Divisive show, and you did a guest spot, and it was sick. And I was like, "Who is this person?"
Dude, I love those guys. I'm very sad about what happened to them.
Yeah, me too.
And like I said earlier, I could do a whole episode on cancel culture, because oftentimes nothing actually happened. With that, nothing actually. Thomas didn't do anything.
Yeah,
he just wasn't texting the band back fast enough, and they were like, we have to get ahead of this, but he didn't do anything.
I wouldn't have handled
and now the band's gone
the way that I mean, I work out with Nick 4 days a week, 5 days a week. We didn't work out today, sorry, but I wouldn't have handled it the way they did. I would have been I would have been tell the truth,
tell them what happened,
tell everybody what happened. And he's like, well, they had kind of a stand-in manager at the time,
Yeah.
and the manager was like, no, the best way to handle it is this. And I'm like, I disagree.
Yeah. And turns out he didn't exactly what he should have done, which was say like, oh, I didn't know that you were that age. Okay, I'm not talking to you anymore.
Right.
That was it. Nothing happened.
Yeah, that's
crazy.
Yeah, there's no evidence, and
crazy.
it sucks because a really great band from the scene got taken away from us.
Yep.
And they were on track to go on some pretty cool tours and just kind of keep getting bigger in the deathcore world.
Yep.
And things didn't work out that way.
Sucks, man.
So,
and it's not uncommon.
Yeah.
But even if they're, like, and I want to do a whole podcast about, like, not the whole podcast is about it, but I do want to do a whole episode on cancel culture and how insane it is. Because, like, for example, the old guitar player for Paris, Alex Babinski, he was accused of sexually assaulting a girl that he had never met. And the band was very quick to be like, we're parting ways with him because they had to get ahead of it.
Yeah.
Because they didn't know. But, like, that's your boy. Like, you should at least hear him out, right?
Yeah.
But also, like, if somebody accuses you of something and they're lying about it, you should go through the legal process, right? Because they're now defamation of character, loss of income, whatever. Alex went through that for 5 years to prove his innocence. And the girl finally in court said, I had never met him. I just wanted attention.
Dude, it's so whack.
He won his case, but everyone's already made up their mind about him.
Right.
Because of the original accusation, and people only read the headlines.
Right. People.
And now that he's proved himself innocent, they don't care. They've forgotten about it and moved on to the next person to cancel. Same thing with a lot of people. Tyler Carter, like, there's way more to the story.
Dusty, like, from Between the Buried and Me,
dude.
too. I don't know all the details of that, but it's just so amazing how a band just quickly dismisses somebody that has been playing shows with them and writing music with them for such a long time, and it's just bam, like, gone.
And also, people that talk about, like, Warped Tour was the prime place for, like, all this, like, minor people, whatever, you know, which, yes, sure, it was an environment where that did happen a lot, but also we should talk about the other side of it, where a lot of the girls and guys, I'm sure, but a lot of the girls that were getting onto those buses were also lying about how old they were.
Yeah.
To get the mark on their checklist or whatever.
Right.
To be a groupie, to be around those bands. Like, a lot of them were also lying about their ages.
This is not just the deathcore scene. This is not just Warped Tour.
This is every band since Kiss. Like,
Led Zeppelin.
Fuck, dude. They've all, like, no one is innocent, if you will.
Dig up the dirt on that stuff.
Everyone's got skeletons in their closet.
Yeah.
And oftentimes the most, like, PC people are, like, actually the worst.
The offenders.
Behind the scenes.
Yeah. That stuff is whack.
It's wild.
I'm a big fan of keep your hands off the kids.
Bro. For sure.
Just grow up.
100%.
Stay away from young people.
For sure. For sure.
You always have to check, double check, triple check.
Yeah. And, like, back then, even now, I'm sure, like, that wasn't something that they had to, like, they thought they had to think about.
Yeah.
But now, of course, like, you have to think about it. But now there's, like, other crazy shit going on. I just saw a post online about some band that was on tour, and their like merch girl came up with the idea of, like, selling one of the band members, like, splooge, for lack of a better term.
Oh, dude.
In a vial, and people were
know that band.
Buying it. Bro, that's gross. And also, like, if some girl, like, impregnates herself with your sperm, like,
well, I think doesn't it die or something?
I don't know. If she refrigerate, I don't fucking know. I think
the
probably.
Band Knoll is on tour with that band.
That's nasty.
But hey, it got him on Metal Sucks, right?
I mean, but is that what you really want to be known for?
People do anything just to get your metal band to poke.
That's
through
crazy.
The poke out of the rock pile. It's like, oh. Well.
I mean, there's also that band that was local to here that the dude put, like, estrogen in his band members' protein powder because he was trying to steal his girl, and he was trying to make his bandmate that was with the girl look more feminine so he could slide in. Bro, you should go to jail. You're like poisoning your boy.
That is whack.
That's crazy.
What band was that?
I don't know. I did a whole video about it though, but I was like, this is wild shit. That's like serial killer type shit.
It is.
Like,
it is.
If you replace the estrogen with like cyanide.
There's this TV show on Netflix. It's called My Worst Roommate Ever.
That should be on that show.
And there's one where this roommate is. I think this roommate was like attracted to her female roommate, and they created this weird relationship together. But she had gotten an injury, and there was like some kind of like cut or something on the back of her neck. And this roommate she ordered MRSA. Which is like...
You can, like, off the dark web?
Well, yeah.
Where do you get MRSA?
She ordered MRSA off of the dark web, but she was like a nurse, worked for a hospital or something, so...
Of course.
Had some kind of way of getting this stuff, and is like rubbing it into her neck, and then this girl is getting sicker and sicker and about to die, and then eventually they figure out right before she is about to die, basically.
She has like sepsis and shit.
Yeah, she was totally
and her whole neck
toxicity was taking over her whole body. And
dude, why are people insane?
Why would you do that to another human being? But yeah,
that's like Munchausen syndrome type stuff.
It was about control. Is really what it came down to. It's
wild,
a narcissistic thing.
That's crazy.
And manipulative controller dynamic.
Some people like get off on that stuff. That's so wild to me.
But the estrogen thing is a really
crazy. It's
really
crazy.
Bizarre.
Look it up. But they also got in like Metal Sucks or Lamb Goat or whatever.
Yeah.
One of those.
I just think it's hard enough to be in a touring band.
For sure. And you got to trust your people.
Yeah, it sucks being around people that are
for sure
that are like that.
Yeah.
It's awful.
And also like last thing on like the cancel culture stuff, like bands that are really quick to like kick their people out, like if they were doing this stuff back then or whenever it was that they got accused of doing this stuff, like you were also there watching this happen. Because if it happened on your tour bus, you were there.
Yeah, turning a blind eye to something that's
and then saying like we didn't know or like oh my god, like you're also like an accomplice to this crime or whatever. Like if it was a murder, you'd be an accomplice to the murder. You know?
Yeah.
Like, it's wild to me. But, again, I just, like, I think there's more to a lot of this stuff that we're hearing about.
Yeah.
Not that it's okay. I just think that there's more to it.
Yeah.
So.
I hate the cancel culture thing.
I do too.
And when the whole divisive thing was unfolding, I was actually talking to both parties involved, and my question was, what evidence do you have? Because I'm married to a lawyer. I kind of think like a lawyer.
Sure.
I was just like, what evidence do you have? And what this individual told me was, well, he's a strange guy, and he does weird stuff, and it just pisses me off, man.
That doesn't mean you're a criminal.
That's basically what he told me.
Okay.
And I was like, well, that doesn't prove anything, man.
Yeah, like, but also like,
why don't you shut up?
Yeah, exactly. But also like, just a PSA to all the fans of every band or any band out there, like, especially in the scene, metal, emo, post-hardcore, whatever it is, in like our scene, most of your heroes are probably pieces of shit because we're all broken people writing music for other broken people. Yeah. Like we all got skeletons.
Don't deify rock musicians.
Like we're not gods. We are just like you. We just write music, man. Like we're all broken too, man. But that's what makes our music so good.
Yeah.
That is relatable because you're also broken. So
absolutely.
Let's just make some music and I'll see you guys at a show.
Hell yeah. Okay, thanks for hanging out.
Of course.
Talk really quickly about what's coming up next for you. I know you're going on tour with Red Jumpsuit.
Yeah.
And then where can people follow you?
Sure. Wow. So yeah, Red Jumpsuit, we are playing Warped Tour next weekend. Oh my God. In Long Beach. And then we go on a month-long tour in August all over the US. Red Jumpsuit Apparatus, theredjumpsuitapparatus.com/tour is where you can find all of our tour dates. And then we're playing Aftershock and When We Were Young and Louder Than Life. Very excited for all of that. And we'll see what happens next year with Red Jumpsuit. Super excited. Can't talk about a lot, but there's some cool things in the works. And you can find me on Instagram at Enagonio. My YouTube and TikTok are K the Screamer Official. And if you like abandoned stuff, I explore abandoned places under the moniker No Tracers on all social media. And then if you like rocket launches, we live stream our rocket launches, and we are filming a lot in like the educational space and the engineering side of things with aerospace. Interstellar Gateway. Find us everywhere.
That's awesome, man. That's
we got
sick.
YouTube, Twitter, all the things. But yeah, very excited for the future. And, you know, it's cool because sometimes the side quest becomes the main plot line of your life, and that's where I'm at. Thanks for having me on. And to everybody out there, stay strong, keep enduring. I'll see you guys soon.
Heck yeah. Kay, thank you so much.
Yeah, you got it, bro.
Anybody that's out there, thank you for watching. Please drop a comment if we talked about something that you enjoyed. Like the video.
Yeah.
Share this episode. Check out some of the other episodes on the channel. It would mean the world to me. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.
Peace, guys.